In a world of remakes and remasters,
Are we playing for
what was once sacred and cool has now soured and become lame.
Red?
Gone are the days of pods and cowabunga. Now is the reign of slurp juice and dabs. Kids these days don't even know how bad they've got it. Now it's up to the best generation to rise to the occasion and make a show that dares to go where a lot of other nerdy shows have already gone quite a bit. That's right. They're going to talk about it a lot. Hello and welcome to the show, everyone. Sorry, we're starting just 5 minutes late. That's not too late. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Best Gen, the show where nerds complain about nerdy things. We call it Best Gen because we're all, roughly from the same gen. Not him. We happen to think that our gen's the best, not because we're better than you, but because our entertainment was. And so this is the show where we wax nostalgic and complain about the new things and reminisce on the old things. So prepare your ear holes for a wonderful conversation. Oh, he already left. He wanted to say hi. He's dressed up as Spider-Man. He's supposed to be brushing his teeth and getting ready for bed.
It's about the way that it goes. They're supposed to be doing one thing and they're doing 6 other things instead.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing all right. Doing all right.
Good. We have a little more intimate setting tonight. Fewer guests. A lot of people are traveling, and some people's flights may have gotten delayed, and they're stuck on airplanes. And other people may have sick kids, and may or may not be joining us later if they ever get them to sleep. We'll see. So we're gonna play it by ear. Unfortunately, other Jared is the only one who had read his Dark Materials, so we'll have to push that discussion off until next week because he won't be joining us tonight.
Okay, that's good because I haven't watched the show, but I'm going to watch this week.
You don't have to, but
I want to. It sounded interesting.
The first season is really good. I didn't love the show as a whole. And I was really curious to talk to Jared because I think that my problems with the show are also inherent problems in the source material. So I don't think I would like the books. I haven't read them. But because from what I've heard, it's a very faithful adaptation. So I think my problem is with the story. No, because the acting is casting is fantastic. The production quality is really good. I didn't like the story. I think the problem is season 1 is fantastic and sets up some incredible world building, and then season 2 abandons all of it. Takes place on a completely different world, which is how the story goes. It introduces like multiple realities and stuff like that.
Oh,
and it's not that it's bad. It's just that the world building in the first book was so interesting that I really don't care about the other stuff. And I would rather spend the whole time in this one, in this really cool place with there's a lot of interesting stuff going on, and none of it's addressed. And then season 3, book 3, just pulls in a whole bunch of stuff out of nowhere and wraps up the plot in a way that just was not set up at all. So I don't know if it could be explained better in the book. We're talking about his Dark Materials. That's the series name. It's the Golden Compass, the Subtle Knife, and the Amber Spyglass. So I didn't love it. I'd still say it's probably worth watching. Like, the acting's good. I don't know. I just didn't like it that much. And so I want to talk to Jared about. Oh, you're muted, Bearded, but because I'm pretty sure I don't like the books too. I just haven't read them.
Yeah. I haven't watched the show or read the books. I'd be interested to check out the book. So although the only like review that I have from way back when was my mom, who's a librarian, loves books, loves reading, loves all sorts of stuff, didn't like the way that the kind of twist at the end was, because she felt like it was setting up something that she really identified with and really loved, and then the way that they twisted it, she didn't. I think it was more the expectation with the switch kind of threw her off. But,
yeah, it's not so much a switch as just like a plot point that just like it's just not set up. It just comes out of nowhere, and they're like, "Okay, this is what we're doing for the third book, guys," and you're like, "Okay," and there's just a bunch of stuff that's introduced that's just. It just feels really rushed and disconnected from the first season. And season 2 felt the same way. It was just like, okay, this is fine, but like, I didn't like it. Also, season 2 to me felt like it was affected by COVID a lot. Like, there was no scenes with more than 2 people talking to each other, and I was like, this is very, very different from book 1. But from what I've read, that's the same way with the book. So I'm like, oh, I don't know. I really want to talk to Jared.
And the books predicted COVID, right?
What?
The books predicted COVID.
Yeah. Exactly. Namaste, Sherry Walder. I don't think I've seen you in our stream before, so thanks for joining us. If anyone in the chat has read his Dark Materials and wants to come on and talk about it, I would love some feedback, because as it stands, the show doesn't make me want to read the books. A lot of times I'm like, oh, this is probably better in the books, and I'll read those. And this is like I don't know, I feel like I got the story and I'm not gonna like it. But so we'll talk about that more in depth next week.
Yeah. Small update on my my Sanderson stuff that I've been messing with.
Oh yeah. You caught up yet?
I was waiting for the library books, the library book of Lost Metal to come in. It still hasn't come in.
Good luck.
I made sure to tell the librarians. I didn't yell at the librarians because it's not their fault. But I told them to find somebody to yell at because it's their fault. And so they need to find out whose fault it is and yell at them, because I'm really upset that 2 months later I still don't have my book that I ordered. And then after I got off the stream last week, I was like, hey, I need to go talk to my wife about this the Year of Sanderson that we got signed up for and make sure everything's all set. And we found out that somehow we actually missed it. We thought we signed up, and I guess not. So I'm not getting the Year of Sanderson.
What?
And I'm very, very upset about that. Actually, I'm probably going to be keeping an eye on his store. It sounds like around the 10th of each month, he's going to have his boxes available on the store. And I just on them. But yeah, so, me sitting here, I've dubbed myself a Sander evangelist, and here I am without the Year of Sanderson that I planned on getting.
Right. Yeah, that's a bummer.
That was a huge bummer last night. It was kind of tough though, because my wife was so upset about having messed that up, because she was like, oh, here, I'll get it for you. And she was so upset that I didn't really get to be upset as much, because I was like, no, it sucks.
Oh, yeah. No, that's the worst when the wife, well, I mean, obviously, when the wife screws up and like they're beating themselves up like more than you ever would have, you're like, well, I'm upset, but like, calm down.
It goes to marriage, right? Yeah.
Or like, and then you have to walk on eggshells for like for a while, because you don't want them to think that you're mad at them, right? And you have to let like everything slide too. You're like, well,
the kind of the worst part though was, and this is bringing back to David. We went on and we just had a Zoom, like not Zoom, but whatever. We were talking online with David and his wife on the next Monday, the next day. And I told them like what had happened before Hannah came to talk with us. So I'm like, so feeling a little bit upset, but we'll try not to bring it up, because Hannah really is beating herself up about it. And throughout the rest of the like couple of hours that we were talking, they brought it up like 3 or 4 other times. Like, oh, yeah, what about this? And I'm like,
don't have it. Yeah. What makes it worse is like all this, because I have it and it's all DRM free, so I could technically give it to you, but I'm not supposed to.
Right.
So
and because I'm going to buy it, I wouldn't feel terrible if I was to get it. But I also like one of the reasons that I got the full year is because, I would get. I don't think that there was, at least in the base Kickstarter. I think you could have done it if you'd gone through BackerKit afterwards or whatever. To make it so, honestly, I don't care about the ebook or the audiobook.
Right.
I actually will want the audiobook for later on, but for now, I want the physical book. I want to read it the first time in physical. I found that listening to books works really well for me. I love it. But I've always been such a reader that I want to read it first with the books. So, yeah. Anyway, just a little update there, since we've got maybe a little lighter show. Figure and since Sanderson has been a hot topic lately,
I had so much fun last week talking about it.
How did the rest of the stream go once we left? Once you were able to be spoiler free?
Oh, it was great. It was great. We talked about all kinds of spoilers.
I was looking at Sanderson's website, and just like the shop that he has there, all of his swag. And as I was looking at some of the Stormlight, like they've got challenge coins, which I love challenge coins. I was looking at those challenge coins, and I'm like, hey, wait a second. And I think I made at least a partial connection as to what you guys were referencing with Warbreaker and Stormlight having connections. Lightweaver was, I'm like, wait a second, I know that name from Warbreaker. They're in Storm. Ooh, so I've minorly spoiled myself to that. There's something there, even though I kind of knew there was something there. Just a little bit extra piece of that, and I was like, whoa. So that was an interesting little reveal to myself, and I'm even more excited now to read Stormlight, because I'm like, everything that I was seeing of the merch for Stormlight was, I'm like,
it's so good. It's a great series. I can't wait to see it on screen. Mark Clark, you found the coolest Wheel of Time poster. Prints. Okay.
So
yes.
Which Stormbreaker are we talking about with that one? Because there's a couple of different. Oh, Light. Stormlight. Oh,
Light.
Stormlight. There we go.
Stormlight.
Yeah.
Not Stormbreaker.
Even Amazon has a lot of really good, Brandon swag merch stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys in America have the cool merch,
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish that I could get all those things that I watch from YouTubers, or that say, "Oh, promo code 20% off," and I'm like, "Oh no, shipping to Mexico."
Yeah. I think a lot of brands should be able to at least ship there. I don't know what the international shipping rates are, though. That's the other problem, is that the shipping rates I've heard are pretty awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, if one of you ever come to Mexico, you already know that I'm going to send a lot of things to your home. If you can read.
It's called the free market, homie. Get with the times. Yeah, no, it's a bummer. Speaking of artwork, did you guys see in the news that there was an artist who got banned from a subreddit because his art looked too much like AI art?
Wow.
That's interesting.
It's insane right now. But you can and they show the picture, and it's clearly not done by AI. You could kind of see some parallels in that, in its composition, but it's just funny. And then he got banned when he complained about it, and it's like, hey, you took down my artwork. It's not made. I made it myself. And then they banned him because they hated him. The response was like, yeah, but it looks too much like AI. You're gonna have to get better.
Wow. So basically, it looks too good, but not good enough. But at the same time,
it looked. No, the thing is, it looked really good. It's just the composition was kind of typical to a lot of how the AI puts things together.
Well, it's like, yeah, I need to get better. So being kicked out of the community of people that are doing this and would be able to help me maybe grow. That's the way that I'm going to get better, is you kicking me out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I forgot to introduce everybody. We're joined by Jared. What are you drinking?
Mountain Rush. Shasta.
Jesus.
Okay, it's a Shasta Dew. Got it.
I'm a dew fiend, but I've been trying to figure out ways to cut back a little bit, and this has a little less sugar, so I'm like, well, let me give it a little bit of a shot.
Well, I've got my Sunday Bundaberg splurge going on with some blood orange deliciousness.
Bundaberg is a great brand. Like their ginger beer is by far the best ginger beer
Oh,
that's
it's so
out there.
good.
And there are other ones like that blood orange and things like that I've had. I've tried them. They're really solid too.
It's really hard to find the fruity flavors here.
Mm.
But every time I see them in the store, I buy them all.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. They're not super. I don't see them a lot around here either. I occasionally, but not a ton. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
I was just going to say you got through introducing me, but we diverted.
And we're joined by the Angry Mix, who's got his own channel, which you should definitely be subscribed to if you're not a tool, you know. So,
by the way, not a sponsor, but if they want a sponsor.
I missed Mark Clark. You've read books 1 and 3 of the his Dark Materials.
Yeah.
Honestly, those are the important ones. Book 2 is just completely unnecessary. So if you want to come on and talk about it, I'd love to have you on. These are non-alcoholic. It's soda. Mormons can't drink alcohol. Well, we can.
We're not supposed to. Yeah.
I mean, we can do anything. I could kill somebody if I wanted to.
Yeah, okay. Everyone can do anything.
I just wouldn't go to heaven if I did.
You go to the other heaven. No, well, and the other thing with that is, so ginger beer even as well is not
ginger beer is not
alcoholic beer.
It's like root beer. It's
just a stronger ginger flavor.
That's probably what they were talking about, not my blood orange alcohol.
I have cousins that are Lutheran. Yep. He didn't. Which one was it? He didn't like 1 and 3 of
the books.
Of the books.
Yeah, come on. Well, I didn't like the show, so come on. I'll shoot me a Twitter. I'll send you a link to the stream next week. Next week we have exciting news. We'll have an amazing show. I'm literally like as giddy as a schoolgirl because we will have another YouTuber on the show. YouTubers plural. We'll be joined by Gothic Therapy.
Ooh, bro, I love those guys.
I love them too. I follow the YouTube channel, but I mostly follow them on Twitter because they're hilarious. So it's a couple. It's a master of the TDS and
Gothic writer. I think something.
Yeah, it's Gothic Therapy. It's the Writing Raven. That's her name.
Hey, yeah.
But she writes Gothic horror stuff. They're coming on next week for the first hour to talk about Wednesday and so I watched it just for them.
Did they like it?
No.
Of course. It's a little bit trashy.
Well, I'm super excited. So make sure you tune in next week because they're going to be here, and I feel like a schoolgirl crush. It's just I'm excited.
I'm also excited, bro. Now that you say thing.
Yeah.
Thank you for the great news.
Well, I've been like grooming him on Twitter for a long time, trying to get him to come on the show. So that's a poor way of saying it.
I don't think that was an accident that you said it that way, though.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what it is. You're like,
right?
You have to balance a delicate line. You don't want to be annoying, right? But you also want to be persistent.
You have to make them think that is their own idea.
You gotta I incepted. That's the thing. I did an inception on Gothic Therapy, and I made them think it was their idea to come on my show.
Are you saying it was more like Inception, or more like Rick and Morty Inception? That's the only episode.
More like South Park, probably Inception.
I don't know.
You haven't watched South Park.
I don't know. So go follow them on Twitter. It's Master the TDS and the Writing Raven, and their YouTube channel is Gothic Therapy, and we'll see them next week. Super excited. They only have like an hour to spare because like Sundays are super busy for them. So I'm really glad they're coming on. All right. There's some news. We already talked about some of it, but I don't know if you guys saw this, but
yeah, bro, I was like,
yeah, 1899 is canceled, which is weird because they just renewed Wednesday for a second season.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
did
but
did they cite reasons that they didn't renew it?
No, they never do. Netflix is
I
like
usually don't, but
Netflix is weirdly shy about like they never give any details about cancellations ever.
And I mean, I know that a lot of times I've heard it makes sense from the streaming model, from the existing streaming model, about why you wouldn't want to renew shows for a long time, like because it's hard for them. Like viewership doesn't matter to them; it's new signups, right?
Yeah, it's weird.
But now that they're going to the ad-supported tier, maybe that'll help. But there's got to be something about retention too, because if you're constantly canceling shows, you're going to lose subscribers because they don't have the shows they want to watch. You know,
it's weird. Well, because they also had a huge track record with these guys. You know, they did Dark and
they've done Dark, and it's obvious that these guys had a second season planned. They were hoping to be able to do a second season.
They were hoping to be able to do 3. They were like
more. Like it didn't really finish it, you know.
Yeah, they had it planned out for 3 seasons for the whole story. That like it's a, you know, it's a bummer. It might get. They're saying it might get shopped around, but
yeah, well, that was what. But can they even do that? Like, can they, go to another network and just say? But I don't know. I don't know how.
Yeah, if Netflix doesn't want to renew them, they're free to pursue other producers. But
it's gonna be hard.
Someone wants to. That's the problem. So I liked the show. Wasn't quite as good as Dark, but it's a bummer.
Yeah, but it wasn't cancelable. It wasn't Resident Evil Netflix.
Well,
it
okay,
was pretty decent.
Well, great. That's exciting to hear. I'm glad you're liking Dark because I was very disappointed that you didn't like 1899 after I recommended it. Yeah, no, Dark's fantastic. It's so freaking cool. It's so cool. It's awesome. Okay. Yeah. So that got canceled. That's a bummer. I can't remember how much. Oh yeah, have you guys seen this? You know how DC is just a wonderful company who's done everything to appeal to their fan base.
Oh my god, I know what you.
Oh, they're just literally there's the best company, and they definitely know what comic book readers want to see, and that is definitely a pregnant Joker, baby. Oh, this just appeals to me on so many levels. This is a real panel from a real comic book that DC actually published and no one ever said,
is this a good idea? Because it's not.
Yeah. No, it's a
Who's that he's with? Is that
I don't care.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Probably one of his jesters or something like that,
Probably.
like one of his lackeys.
He gives birth to a mud monster who transforms into a child version of himself, who he adopts as his son.
What the hell? And the other pictures are even worse. There's a picture of the actual labor.
Yeah, no, there's
him, laying in the obstetrician,
there's another still table. Yeah, with an OBGYN with his head between his legs. I don't know if that's on this thread, but
oh my god.
Yeah, props to this this she's got a YouTube channel too. Maybe we should get her on the show. But wow. This 2 million views.
That's cool.
Way to go, DC. You're definitely making the news. It may not be for what you want.
Is that even like a good strategy anymore? Because they used to say, like there's no such thing as bad marketing, but this is this is just ridiculous.
This is pretty bad marketing.
Out of all platitudes or whatever I don't know what the right term is for those like sayings, those terms. Yeah, you can take it to an extreme. So yeah, all news is good news or whatever. It's like no. You can get bad press to be actually bad for you.
Yeah. For example, anything like The Rings of Power or all these shows that had really bad marketing and then they bombed. So yeah.
And then the next issue came out, and people were the defenders were like, "Hey, it turns out it's not because he's transgender; it's because some like magic witch put a spell on him. So, maybe wait to see what happens before you freak out like you crazy whack jobs always do." And everyone was just like,
That's worse.
"That's not what
That's not our problem.
we had a problem with it because it's stupid."
Yeah.
Yeah, no one was even thinking that he was transgender, but they just have all these letters on their mind and they
Yeah.
just
It's projection. It's fine at its finest.
exactly.
Okay, yeah. The
Yeah.
rest of these are for bad takes. We got so many. 'Cause
Okay.
we
I just
missed-
wanted to
we missed,
say,
like,
I
3
don't ask you
takes.
if anyone had seen the show Inside Job. It also got canceled.
I did.
Yeah, third season got canceled.
The third season got canceled. I
Mm.
started watching that. I've seen a couple episodes. It's fine.
The first season is good, the more you get to the end of the season, it gets
Uh-huh.
worse. But the second season is just like it starts really, really bad. So probably people were just tuning out and they were not
Mhm.
finishing the show. But it ends decently, and actually, I would say that it ends good. At least on the point of view of a sci-fi fan, where they really go into Rick and Morty type of sci-fi, and
Right.
it's more fun than the beginning. But
Hey, David did get his
Yo.
kids to sleep.
Hey,
All
you
of-
seem tired, bro.
All of
as if
David's
there's
kids
enough
are-
drugs
Yep.
in them, and you'll be fine. Those
All of David's kids are throwing up. So
Oh,
I'm
no.
glad you made it though, because I do have a bad take that's just for you.
No,
Hey,
fantastic.
Core was
Hello,
on
Corey.
too.
So, brother.
What have you done to our small
man?
show?
Yep.
I had
now the party can begin.
I had a point that I wanted to make. Oh, yeah, Inside Job. I think that the premise is really good, and I like that the show is basically a documentary about how our government works. Right? It's obviously played up, but
What show is this?
Inside Job. It's on Netflix. It's made by the guy who did Gravity Falls,
Oh, okay.
which is why I was interested in watching it.
Yeah.
The problem is it's not kid friendly. There's a lot of swearing and stuff in it, and I feel like his humor doesn't work as well when it's like adult oriented. Like
Mhm.
it felt stronger when it was more family friendly. So because and in this show in particular, I feel like because he doesn't have that limitation, he takes it too far. Almost, when comedians lean on swearing to make things funny, it's not funny.
Yeah.
I really like
agreed.
what Brian Regan had to say about that. He's a great stand-up comedian who's like, yeah, I can say a curse word and people will laugh because it's uncomfortable, not because it's funny. And so it's a crutch in comedy, right? It like an occasional swear can be used really effectively.
Yeah.
Okay, but if that's all you have, it's not funny. So
Mhm.
it kind of felt like, hey, I can finally swear in my TV show because it's not on Disney, and so it kind of felt like it was just like everywhere. And you're like, well, less is
Yeah.
more. Less is more sometimes.
And it's like he leans on, and I agreed with that, but all other things that I mean, when you watch Gravity Falls, you
Yeah.
know that this guy in some point of his life, took drugs or
Oh yeah,
use obviously. But this show is like everything is like drugs and everything is like banging and
Yeah.
everyone is a DJ. Like, come on, like take it down a notch. Not everyone acts like that. Not everyone that uses
Yep.
I don't know, shrooms or weed or acid is like a crazy maniac that every time is going to want to be high.
right.
And most of those people don't do it very often.
It's kind of like how Seth Rogen is just like gives like a horrible name for anyone who uses recreational drugs, right?
Mhm.
You're like, well, he's
I don't want to be unfunny and boring.
we don't really count him, right? Like he's not one of us.
Yeah.
But
So speaking of him, and a couple of other things I was going to bring up just as topics to discuss. I don't necessarily need to throw off anything too much, but I went and saw Fablemans, and he's actually in it.
Fableman. Oh, Seth Rogen. That's like the kind of biography about Steven Spielberg, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Autobiography.
It was all right. Not anything crazy to.
I've heard it's okay.
Yeah. I enjoyed it, and I also love like learning some of the behind the scenes stuff about how
Right.
like emotional and important it was for him, and so I really liked that. But yep. And then I also went and saw The Whale.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Was it good?
Definitely, like everybody like raving about the performances, and Brendan Fraser, he really does just knock it out of the park. There's a few parts of the message that I don't really love because it's a bit extra nihilistic.
Yeah.
nothing
Is that Darren
matters.
Aronofsky? Yes, it is.
Yeah. But
Oh,
it also still does have a really positive.
Who'd have thought he'd make a nihilistic movie?
Right. But there was actually a little bit that reminded me of one of my favorite parts from Everything Everywhere All at Once, where you've got the character Wayman, where he's doing his speech about just be kind kind of thing, and Brendan Fraser has a similar speech. It's not quite as impactful, not quite as
Right.
powerful, but it's delivered really really well, and it's really really an interesting thing because even though so he's supposed to be a gay man, and there's a plot point that has to do with a missionary trying to come and convert him and save his soul
Right.
or whatever. And he ends up getting mad at him, but then is also really happy for him working on his own stuff and overcoming some of his own challenges. And so he's not even, it's not necessarily anti-religion per se. So I appreciated that, even though there was still a very nihilist, there's nothing after this life, and this church has caused problems, or whatever. But I thought it was really, really well done. And the final one that I wanted to ask if anybody else had checked out was the Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio on Netflix.
I haven't seen it
that
yet. It's on my list of things I should probably watch eventually.
I
I've heard it's great.
Yeah.
I have
good.
such a long list of things I need to see.
It's another one of those really, really well done hand or claim
Stop motion.
Stop motion animation, yeah.
And it's Pinocchio's story, but it's very different than what you're used to with the Disney version and everything. So I thought it was really good, and that like all the things that the new version of Pinocchio thought about trying to do to improve on the original, this one did, and actually did it well. Like it actually worked.
Yeah.
They leaned into the idea of like the grief and the father-son relationship and loss and things like that, and it was really good. The beginning can be a little bit annoying to get through. Just kind of brace yourself for that. I think it's still good storytelling, but it like my wife would have been done with it after like 10 minutes, just because of the Pinocchio character is a little bit much at the beginning, but he has an arc, so it's good. I don't know. So I figured I'd toss those out there as good recommendations. I really liked Pinocchio and The Whale. Fablemans was still really, really good and fun to watch and all that. But yeah.
I finally did get around to watching both Shang-Chi and Disenchanted.
I haven't seen Disenchanted yet. I really don't want to.
Yeah, it's not terrible, but it's not great. It was just kind of there. They had some interesting ideas that they just didn't do anything with, and then some other ones that are just stupid and frustrating.
When it goes straight to not theaters, it's like
Yeah.
Could have been better, like you say, they had a good idea, but they just rely on so many cliches, like the cliche, the moving family, and the kid is not happy with it. Like every other movie does that.
Yeah,
I will say that was not as big of a plot point as the trailers made it seem.
right.
It was a smaller little piece to that, though.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
They just forget about that like half an hour later.
I just don't
Well,
like that they
it's
do a
kind of like
spell,
what kids
and
do when you move. They forget about it a second later.
exactly. Yeah,
it worked. That part I think ended up working in the movie. It was kind of dumb for that half second, and then it really wasn't a problem. So it wasn't like, oh, they forgot about it, what happened to it. It was just kind of like, yeah, they got over it, and it was okay. She was still a little iffy, but got over it.
but there were just so many cooler things they could have done with this premise that happens in the thing, and it's just I don't know. It kind of fell flat, but it wasn't terrible. Shang-Chi I actually enjoyed compared to everything that we've been watching today. Shang-Chi was a breath of fresh air. I mean, I agree with your
it starts off
criticisms.
really good. The bus scene fight is honestly
The bus scene is amazing.
incredible.
Yes.
Honestly,
And
all of the choreography is really, really good. Obviously, in the last big battle,
Yes.
there's not really choreography as much, but
As soon as
Right.
they start introducing
That's
magic,
cool.
it gets way boring.
Yeah, it's like
Like
what?
it was fun because it was just kung fu, and like that the bus fight scene is it's awesome.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the movie is just like, eh.
The bus fight scene is awesome. I did like some of the moves that they were able to do with the rings, you know, with managing their momentum and that sort of thing. I thought some of that was kind of cool, but the end.
How'd you like the
was just-
father-son sexual tension dance?
Yeah, yeah, that was a little bit awkward in the
I
end.
don't think that was supposed to be sexual, but whatever.
It was supposed to mirror the
Mirror the mom, because
father and the mother
the
thing, but-
father-mother like meeting dance was really well done. I thought in
that
balancing.
was fantastic. Yeah,
That was good.
Like, first of all, just the amazing choreography with it, but then also like the storytelling that happened within the fight of them, like, oh, well, this is interesting, and coming around to it, you know, I don't know.
But now that you've seen it, David, can you imagine, making like that kind of mediocre movie, and it's your first movie ever, and then all of a sudden getting the ego of Simu Liu?
yeah, right.
he actually hasn't been that. I don't know.
Yeah,
He's
You have to
been
do a couple things, but he's
insufferable.
yeah.
Yeah, but he's going to be in Barbie. I hope he doesn't get an ego for that.
oh my
He
gosh!
also
Did
did
you guys
do a
watch
really-
the trailer for Barbie?
Oh yeah,
I
it
have
was-
I don't understand.
I don't know what they're going for. Is this a kids movie? Is this like
I have no idea what this movie is going to be, and
I think it's going to be a
The trailer was
gay
really
movie.
enjoyable to watch though, because you're just like, are they? They're wow, they're going for that, huh? All right.
Yeah, they're really going for it.
I don't know,
Like
like
2001, huh?
2001 and
Yeah.
Barbie. Just like I don't. It's not the first thing I think of.
exactly? So
It's
I don't know.
probably gonna be this super nihilistic criticism of capitalism and all kinds of. It's probably gonna suck real bad.
Yeah.
Also, it's a Barbie movie. Why? I don't care about Greta Gerwig. I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah. I just the trailer just took me off guard.
It's
though. Like,
so
what the hell is
bizarre.
this? So,
Yeah, it's really bizarre.
anyways,
yeah,
yeah,
one more record.
also watching Shang-Chi too, I didn't like being reminded of the She-Hulk tie-in with the cage fight with Abomination. Like,
Oh,
oh dang it, that's where
gosh.
this comes in.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
But hey, not by itself. If it wasn't for the fact that was that making the She-Hulk,
exactly, yeah.
was actually kind of cool.
I
You
just
know.
didn't want to be reminded of She-Hulk because that was
Honestly,
Abomination.
that got me
Pun
almost
intended.
excited for She-Hulk because of how exciting that was watching it in the movie and then seeing like it being like, ooh, if this kind of plays in with the show, then the show might be cool, and that just
No.
ended up not being the case.
Corwin, you've got something to say, but your face is frozen. There you go. You're back. What were you gonna say?
Is it frozen? Bad?
No,
It
you're,
was
you're,
frozen
you're, you're
really
fixed
bad.
now. You're fixed.
You had this intense like
Right up into the camera.
yeah.
Just like that.
Go ahead. Say
I
your
saw
piece.
a new Christmas movie, a new Christmas movie, Violent Night.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I saw that and I didn't want to recommend it because it is very violent, but man, it is so good.
It is amazing.
It's
It
beautiful.
is a diehard Christmas movie.
It's Die Hard with
100%.
Santa's Die Hard.
Premise
Nice.
is essentially Santa Claus is real Santa Claus. Like
Yeah.
he is the real Santa Claus with magic and everything. And the premise is he goes to deliver gifts to this house, and this house is being taken over by terrorists,
By a Die
type
Hard.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does Die Hard. Yes. Yep.
It looks
Yep.
really fun. I've heard.
And
I've
the
heard
amazing.
thing
good,
that I
by the way.
loved about it was it beautifully balanced the fact that it's a ridiculously over the top gore fest with the fighting and the violence that he lays out to these people, while also kind of actually being a genuine Christmas movie. Like it has a Christmas message it does a Christmas message in a way that like at the very end that's genuine to the Christmas message, while at the same time still being a completely aware of the fact that it's in a hyper violent movie.
Well, it's the whole movie. The whole movie's a metaphor. It's all a metaphor for to finalize the debate about whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie, which of course it is.
It is. There's a
I
scene.
actually watched Die Hard myself after years, and I gotcha, but nah.
There's a scene.
Come
There's
on.
a scene where he takes a Christmas ornament. I don't want to. I'm just.
Does he give a guy like a smiley with it, like they do with light bulbs on the hood?
No, it's like a star Christmas ornament that you can like plug
Star
into
that
the
goes
wall
up
for like a nightlight type thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And he stabs the dude like a freaking Chinese star in the guy's eye. And then the guy's like, oh, and then he kicks him and he throws him and he plugs it into the outlet on the wall and like electrocutes the guy. It is amazing.
That's very good.
Hyper violent.
Oh yeah,
so good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that
one. It's like
one.
a grenade, but it's like a Christmas ornament that he pulls out of his bag and he like drops it in another guy's like bag, and it's a Christmas ornament that you hang on a tree, and it's actually like it's a Santa Claus frag grenade.
He's got Santa magic.
Wow,
it's amazing.
Mark Clark, get a bag of rocks for yourself.
Okay, so here's the thing, Mark. You're a Lutheran, so you must be familiar with the concept of repentance. You need to fix that right away. You can skip to just watch 1 and 3. Honestly, it's all you need to watch.
I've only seen the first one, and it's only been within like probably the last year that I finally saw it, which has
Christmas movie.
Die Hard there. But yeah.
Yes, they were talking about Silent Night.
No, we were not talking about Silent Night. We were talking about Violent Night.
Violent Night, right.
Violent Night.
Yes.
It's really good.
It's so good.
Yeah. He uses a candy cane as a punch dagger. Because he does like how the kids how he always like see how sharp you could get the candy canes.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you look at the poster, he's a professional at sharpening candy canes, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
I mean, he just sharpens the crap out of this thing, uses it like a freaking carimbit. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Okay,
so I'll have to check that out. I wasn't planning on seeing it.
Do not watch it with your kids.
No, of course not.
They don't even are allowed, I think.
Because you see in the poster of with David Harbour, and he's got the candy cane in there. And the first thing that my wife thought when she saw that, she didn't watch the movie.
Stab someone with
it. She's like, he's sharpening that to a point, isn't he? And it's absolutely the best.
It's amazing.
The best though was the little girl and her Home Alone setup.
Yep,
that was amazing.
That's hilarious.
A hyper violent Home Alone setup. That sounds awesome.
Because it was Home Alone, but it actually like is in an R-rated violent movie, and so they were able to do everything the way that it would be.
That sounds fun. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
It's
Marv would have been dead.
And then the last one. Then the last one I will say is I did get. I know it sounds so weird, but we do these overtime shifts at a local movie theater because there's been a lot of just stuff going on at movie theaters. So they pay the department for extra security for movie theaters. So I've had an opportunity to kind of go in and out of movie theaters here and there, like as they're screening, because I got to do my walkthroughs. So I'll take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And anyway, so I've seen all these movies in broken up parts essentially over the past couple of weeks, like 15 minutes here. And then the next week, like another 20 minutes, the next week, like 5, but I've seen them all. Anyway, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. I know it sounds stupid.
It's good.
It's actually really good. Yeah.
Sounds good.
It's really good. It's got an audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Last I checked was like 92%.
Mm-hmm.
But what makes it really, really good is the villain in it is excellent. The villain in it is a wolf, and he is phenomenal. The voice actor and how they wrote the villain is he's a villain just because he just doesn't care. He has no craps to give.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a villain just to be a villain. And he's very well. He's probably the best written villain. It's probably the best written villain I've seen in any movie for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
That's surprising because I saw the first. Is this the third one? I think it's the third Puss in Boots, right?
Yeah.
I saw the first one and it was okay, and I
Yeah.
never got around to seeing the second one.
Yeah,
but that's surprising.
I think that there was the first one. I think the second one was a Netflix thing that was like interactive. It was like a choose your own adventure Puss in Boots.
That's interesting.
I'm not sure.
But
What's
this
the trailer for that?
I'm not going to rave about it, but it was definitely solid.
Well, it's always good to have good movies for kids that aren't full of propaganda. So,
And that, it didn't
definitely.
have any of that. It didn't have any of that.
talking about movies for kids, though, Corwin, do you remember when we watched the new Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, we
Oh,
watched it, and
I
you
was
kicked your kid
literally-
out. But next thing you know, we find out
Elliot is sneaky, right? He's always trying to
snuck
sneak
around
into the
back,
live
and he's
stream.
watching
Oh, no.
Mortal Kombat through the slats of the kitchen. And next thing you know, whatever scene it was,
It
when
was
his head-
literally the worst. It was the most gory scene in the whole movie, where this guy like slams two heads together and they explode.
Oh,
And we just hear from behind us, "Holy cow! That was awesome!"
and there's 5-year-old
I'm
Elliot.
like, oh no, I'm in so much trouble. My wife heard that.
Oh man.
Wow.
Oh, it's so good.
That's such a boy reaction to that too. Like,
Yeah, he
Wow.
did. I remember that was awesome. And Alan paused it. Elliot, what are you doing down here? Because he's supposed to be asleep, or I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
And he was just like, "I'm watching a movie, Dad." And he's like, "No, you're not. Go to bed." And he was like, that's all he talked about. He's like, "Mom, did you see their heads exploded?" Alan was just like, "Oh crap, I'm not gonna."
Sounds like this kid's ready for Violent Night, though. I mean, that's
Yeah, right.
about on that bar.
Graduate.
That movie was dumb, but it was a lot of fun too. So. The fight scenes were great. I wish the plot could have been better. That was fun.
Yeah. Another recommend. I just watched Megan.
Oh yeah, was that
Pretty
good?
good.
Hilarious. Hilarious. It's one of the funniest movies that I mean. In the Rotten Tomatoes, it has like a 98% on tomato, critics score. And to be honest, is really good. As decent acting, the main actress is really good. You can tell her emotions. The kid actress as well is really really good. She can cry on cue, which is hard to
It's-
do. And the
It's the chick
Megan.
from Get Out, right? I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, she's good. She can act like someone you hate for like 50 minutes, and then she has like a redemption arc. But
Is it intentionally funny?
I think it is. I think
Okay.
it is. Yeah, because in the Rotten Tomatoes also says that it's horror comedy, and I was a
Okay.
little bit misled because in Mexico it says that it's just horror, and because in Mexico nobody gets that they actually make movies to laugh at because they are so over the top that are just hilarious.
Right.
It's not as funny as Violent Night because Violent Night is just a gem, but it's pretty good. Has no nonsense, no BS, no wokeism, no feminism involved. It's just a movie that tries to entertain people, and those pretty good all up until the last like 5-10 minutes, the final showdown, where it's like you are like, this is kind of dumb, but yeah, it's cool, it's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah,
It's an entertainment.
That's good to
It's a
hear.
movie that was meant to entertain, and it accomplishes that goal.
exactly. And it already made its money back in a week, which is pretty good. The Blumhouse model of investing 30
Yes.
million in a movie and making it in 1 week, and making probably is going to make way more because the marketing was
Cool.
incredible. The,
Yeah.
the marketing campaign was incredible.
The-
It really made me want to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like Blumhouse.
The way they've
really-
done the robot just looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And the movement in the movie is like it's creepy, but you don't think, oh, how could a kid like this? No, in the movie it's really well done. Like now that I'm thinking of it, it's really well done.
Right.
The whole thing about this being a toy that a kid could want. And yeah, it would have been a crazy toy, and probably going to be a toy that is going to exist in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's R-rated. This one is, I think
No,
it's PG-13 because there's only one scene where
I
you
think it's
really,
PG-13 as well.
yeah, where you really say, okay, this is a little bit of
Nice.
gratuitous, but
Yeah.
yeah,
That's good to see too, because oftentimes horror movies that are PG-13 don't, or they're not as successful as the R-rated ones.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good to see.
Yeah, but this didn't have to show, any gratuitous violence. It's just like you don't even have to watch the murders. They do show some of them, and they are like, oh, okay, this is crazy. They really went for it. They are creative. They are not copies of other movies, which a lot of horror movies are. But yeah, it's pretty enjoyable. I enjoyed my time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a
Nice.
copy of Chucky, but it sounds like it's got its own.
No, 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 no. Trust me. Trust me. It is
Just the
not.
premise alone. Hey,
Yeah,
it's
the
a-
premise, I thought that it was like just AI Chucky, but it's way smarter. It seems like the writer is like a geek, like
Yeah.
a
Cool.
sci-fi geek. There's a lot of mumbo jumbo, but it makes sense. It's cool.
Well,
Nice.
Martina, what's funny is our parents were always very strict with the movies that we got to watch. Even like PG-13 movies, they're like, okay, close your eyes. We're going to fast forward this next bit because they're kissing, right?
A
And,
little bit more than just kissing, but yeah.
yeah,
You cannot say in YouTube.
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So like they were always really strict, but then like randomly, one time I watched Frenzy with my dad, which is an Alfred Hitchcock movie, and I guess he didn't know it was rated R, and like there's a full-on rape scene in it with like
Oh,
Which movie is this?
Frenzy. It's
Yeah.
it's actually a really really good movie,
I
but
think that's one of the ones I haven't seen yet. I've seen a lot of Alfred Hitchcock, but I don't think I've seen that one.
but like I was like, we're still watching this? What's like, what's going on?
like those uncomfortable moments where you're like, you don't know if to watch. You don't know to watch to the screen, or you watch to the ceiling, or where do you point your head at to?
It's a good old fashioned bonding moment with my dad watching someone get raped. So
Yeah. My mom was incredibly strict about that. She didn't even let me watch Pokemon because she thought that was devil's demon. Digimon was also like demon work
Digimon.
and stuff like that. But my dad was the opposite. He let me watch all these horror movies that were R-rated, and I watched a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have watched, but it was hilarious. And that's the reason why I don't get scared with horror movies, because I'm used to them. Yeah, we used to love watching movies and crap all over them.
yeah, it was good.
The other movie I've watched since we haven't. It's an older one. I don't remember what it was called. It's actually a horror movie. It's called The Endless. It came out in 2018.
I hear that.
It is, so the premise, real quick before we move on, the premise is just this guy gets on this mountaintop, and he finds that this area in this mountaintop is trapped in a time loop. And how can I do this without screwing things up? There's like an alien / god that has trapped individual people in their own time loops. And these people in their time loops must die within a certain amount of time, or the alien god will do absolutely terrible things to them that will make them want to die in their time loop. And it's about this guy trying to escape that. It has one of the most absolutely terrifying scenes in it.
I've never even heard of this.
It's
Yeah.
called
Right.
Endless, 2018, The Endless.
Endless. Okay.
What's it on? Where did you watch it?
Endless. Okay.
It was just one of the movies. It was just one of the movies that came up that when I was out on patrol, that I was like, yeah, I'll watch it over a week type thing.
It was in a theater?
No. It was on. It was a movie that a guy passed me from the police department.
Okay.
And it's called The Endless.
Yeah.
And there's a scene in it. So like I said, like the guy finds one of his friends, and his friend has like an hour and a half to die. And so his friend's like, I've tried all the ways to die. And I've like hung myself, I've shot myself, I've drunk myself. And he says, the most painless way to die is this way. And that's how I do it every time from now on. And anyway, they have this big long conversation. He says, well, I have it luckier than some. There's some guys here that their life is it's like terrible. And the next morning the guy finds a tent, and it is the most terrifying scene just thinking about it. He finds a tent, and this guy that is trapped inside this tent has 5 seconds to kill himself. And he has no gun, no nothing. And there's like the alien outside of his door or something. And he has to stand up and run outside. And then time resets. And the guy like plops down back in the seat. And then he takes a breath and he stands up and he runs outside. And it's this gory, horrific death that you don't see, you just hear. And then time resets and the guy's back in the seat. And then he stands up and runs outside. I mean, it is terrifying. It's called The Endless.
Where is it streaming?
I'm looking it up
It's
now.
on
You can watch
Freevee.
it free. You can watch it free on the Roku channel, on Peacock, on the Redbox channel, on Amazon Prime.
Oh, come on. We don't get any of those on the Amazon.
No?
No. Amazon, yes, but there is.
It's possible that what David has looked up is only where it's available in the States. So if you were to look it up, there might be, like, for example, it might end up being that it's on Netflix in Mexico for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, just FYI, if you're looking for some like that scene alone, the rest of the movie's like but that I think the scene's only like a minute long, minute and a half, maybe 2 at the most. It is the most hands down terrifying scene.
Interesting.
It has literally haunted me in the shower for like 2-3 weeks. I'll just be sitting there and be like, "Oh my gosh, that is horrible," and then move on with my day. And then like a day later, I'm like, "Oh crap!" It's just anyway.
I remember that. Yeah. Goodness, I'll have to look that up. That looks really good.
The Endless. It's very interesting.
On the vein of horror movies, and I guess we're just recommending things to people to show. I watched The Menu on HBO.
Oh yeah,
I did see that one as well.
I really liked it. It was kind of like more like a lighthearted horror, in that like a dark humor, where you're like it's really not scary, but it is fascinating.
I almost want to say thriller, but it's not even all that thriller.
Yeah, it's just I would call it a dark comedy.
Yeah.
But it's Ralph Fiennes just literally having the time of his life.
I believe isn't it pronounced Ralph Fiennes?
Who cares?
It's Voldemort, okay?
So it's
It's
Voldemort.
Oh, yes.
It's Voldemort, and you can tell he is having so much fun. It's insane how entertaining it was to watch him. And there's like a little bit of like, anti-capitalism in there, but it's the bad guy that's saying it, and so it's like it's okay if the bad guy says a bad thing, right?
Well, the cool part about it is just like all the best sci-fi type of things. It's not telling you this is, but it shows there's bad here, and then there's also not bad. There's bad over here.
There's like, I think my one problem with it is like you really have to suspend a lot of disbelief in that, like with just like the core of the premise is that like really like everyone here is okay with this, but it's fine. It's framed in the like it's kind of like a cult, and so like you can understand maybe, however, but you would think that there would at least be one person involved who would try and maybe like get out or stop. But that wasn't the point of the movie, and so it's like it's fine. Like the point was that like, hey, you could have gotten out if you wanted to. Like they straight up say that, and so
especially Nicholas Holt's performance in that was
he's a douchebag. He was so good. He was so good at being horrible. I've never seen him do that before. And it's the girl that everyone likes.
That's with Florence Pugh? Oh.
No, not Florence Pugh. She's
Saoirse?
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
She's in a bunch of stuff right now. I really liked it.
Yeah.
It was very enjoyable.
Gonna watch it. Also, The Endless.
Yeah.
And then Mark Clark in the comments is recommending The Pale Blue Eye with Christian Bale on Netflix.
That looks like one of those like, I should watch this. I don't think I'm in the mood for it right now, kind of things.
Yeah.
it looks fantastic, and the reviews are like raving mad. Like it's super good. And I'm like, I know it's gonna make me feel things, and I'm like, okay, I gotta psych myself up for this, right?
I mean,
Like,
it's Christian Bale. You know he's gonna perform the crap out of it.
It's like the real life story of Edgar Allan Poe,
Right.
Oh.
And why he's so freaking messed up. And so, like, do I want to mess myself up too? Do I really want to do this?
Yeah.
Like,
It's for your YouTube channel, Alan.
yeah. Okay, I'll do it for the clout. Let's go, baby.
That's for the art of YouTube.
Yeah.
China. Yeah. No, it looks good. Looks good.
Yeah, Martina, you got that right. She's definitely got big old eyes. That's crazy.
Yeah. So there are a couple good things out right now. You kind of have to look for them though to find them. Because the things that they want you to watch are so bad. Is this the worst episode of Willow, or
No, episode 5 was still the worst.
episode 5?
Yeah,
episode 5.
I actually had a few things I really liked.
Sympathetic bone reavers. I can't get over that, man.
I actually had
Like
a
they
few things
literally murdered their like unprovoked,
dude,
just
like,
straight up
the-
murdered one of like the old friendly guy, and they don't even bring it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 episodes prior, I chased
2
them off a
episodes
cliff.
ago, they chased them off a cliff. We're trying to kill everyone here, and like, oh, but all we have is each other.
We were just fighting for our freedom.
And the fear that our masks produce, and the people that you killed and boiled alive to make the masks.
In the
those
promo
ones.
for the 6th episode, actually, I didn't notice this yet, but just 5 minutes later, 5 minutes before they start partying and everyone is okay with each other, one of the Born Reavers tells Elora Dana that she's going to basically scalp her, take her bones of her, of her head, and use it like as a helmet. And I was like, dude, are these the good guys?
No,
What?
they're just misunderstood. No, Disbrew, who's a great YouTuber, just made the best point ever, and it's like these people have systematically turned every villain sympathetic to the point where the only source of evil they can find, they literally have to mine evil in this show now. They have to dig it up because you can't have inherently evil characters.
Yeah. And he hits it right in the nail because this one is like, okay, who is the bad guy? I don't understand anymore. is the girl that is like well, she's not even attractive, but they
Which
try
one?
to make her attractive. The one that in the end that is like
in the newest episode.
I'm evil and Aaron's like, oh no.
So
But
I will say
that's
that's one of the few things that I did like. There's a couple of things that I did like in this episode. There's a lot of garbage in this episode, but there were a couple of things that I really liked. The bit where Eric is like, she's like, what do you want to do? And he's like, I want to become the best husband and father and man that I can be.
He's the only good character in the show, and they just repeatedly drag him through the mud.
What I actually loved is, at least the way that I interpreted the way that the show is presenting it, because even at that point, I'm like, this chick is definitely the crone, right? Like, or at least some sort of like she's definitely a bad person.
The spirit of mid murder or something.
And so when that scene is happening, like to me, it was so different than the kind of messaging that I'm used to getting from these kinds of shows, because this wholesome good guy character is sitting here saying, I just want to be a good man, a good brother, a good father, a good person, and the girls that's sitting there is like, oh, I just want to be free.
And then she immediately tries to bone him.
Well
2 seconds after he says, I want to be a faithful and loving husband and a good dad. And then she tries to bang him.
But again, like,
and he runs away, to his credit.
He says no, and then the very next scene, it's him turning evil. They literally don't even show the transition.
Well,
him going from I want to fight evil to I'll do anything you want because I'm a simp boy.
Like I said, it does get there, but like I just loved that scene.
Because it was great.
This allure of freedom, this idea that the most important thing is just to do whatever you want is not the most important, and it's the good, wholesome person that wants to be the best kind of person.
Exactly.
But it's very telling.
And I love that it had that.
It's very telling that
100%.
they take the only good character who actually has morals in this show, and they strip him of his free will, like he wouldn't have the power to stand up for himself and for what he believes in, because they are literally trying to say that those beliefs are antiquated.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I generally think that that's been a message that they tend to push, and that Hollywood tends to push in a general sense. But the way that this has been framed, I'm not getting that message, and maybe I'm just refusing to get the message they're trying to send. But because it's the evil person is the one that takes those impulses away from him, those desires to be good away from him. To me, it's actually saying, no, trying to just be a good person is the most important thing. Following your impulses and just doing whatever the heck you want is not good. When it
punishes him off camera, for having morals, and rewards Kit for being the worst human that you could possibly write. I don't know how you could take any other message from that.
I guess I don't get as caught up on Kit's stuff and what she's doing, and them, because I don't think they're trying to make her out to be the best person ever. I don't know.
No, she was so annoying. Like on the first half of the show, she's like, she's just Kit. She's literally the same as Kit. She's like, oh, you're such a woman eater or womanizer, and you just want to bang me, and you're going to say the good. And I'm like, shut the hell up! Like you just met the guy.
They gave her both her mother's sword and her father's sword. Because she deserves it. And she's just so horrible.
All I know is that I got through the first episode. I got through it. I got 15 minutes into the second episode and said, yeah, no. I'm done. And I haven't looked back. And you guys aren't, you're just, you're encouraging me to not care further.
That's the point of the show, Corwin.
That's the point. My wife tried to watch it, and I love my wife. My wife is the most amazing person in my life. She is amazing. She is a television.
Oh, she eats it up.
She eats television. Like the other day, I caught her watching a show in the shower. Okay,
I've caught her watching stuff in the shower too, Corwin.
I've got
all the time.
Shut up.
So that's whose underwear was on the phone. I'm just kidding. She had her earplugs in, and I walk in, and she has a balance. She has the things that she's on. Like, she's like, "Well, I just wanted to try my new
wireless earphone."
Sure. Yeah, that's why you want
it. Sure. Okay, as if that's not the reason why you purchased
all I know.
them, right?
When my wife won't even watch a show, she's like, "Yeah, I tried to get into it. I really couldn't get into it. I thought it was dumb." Obviously, it's terrible.
Yeah. I won't pretend like I won't admit to maybe having tried to do the same thing watching a show.
This is a great point. These are the same writers who think that She-Hulk being a drunken whore is empowering. So.
Yep, and all the while slandering men for
having the audacity of finding women attractive.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yep.
And this is the episode where they finally do it, where they
bang.
Couple, they bang.
You get Lesbos banging. Episode 7.
Wow.
You don't actually, but yeah, they definitely did.
Yeah, they say
it was so awkward. So the magic actually looked kind of good when Willow and Alora. Sorry, Alora Dannon, because they say that every freaking time.
You can't say Alora without saying Alora Dannon. Yeah.
When Willow and Alora Dannon were dueling, it actually looked really good, and then it cuts to Kit, and she's like, "Hey, come with me. Like, what are we gonna do?" I'm like, "What do you think?"
Scissor fight. I know.
We're gonna go banging. But no, we're gonna sword fight, because that was obviously symbolic for them whipping their dicks around, right? gosh, it was so awkward.
I did like some of the magic stuff that they were doing, although it was kind of out of the blue that Graydon can do magic too.
What was that?
That came out of nowhere. I genuinely
so
in the
confused.
moment during the fight scene, I had to rewind it 5 times, and I still didn't know what was going on. And then afterwards, it's like, oh yeah, I did magic, and you're like,
yeah,
what?
With what? And then
with his flute.
Yeah,
I mean, Willow explained it in a good way, like they made it a thing, but it was such a like, it just kind of came out of nowhere, and then he like connects. It was like, oh, okay, and like the explanation, sure, it makes it fine. I don't mind that, but it was just so out of the blue, you know.
but like, why would he even think to do that though?
It doesn't. It was on.
Yeah.
It just none of it makes sense, dude.
Yo, and it took Elora then 7 episodes to actually materialize magic, and this guy is already doing it in the first episode. Is this guy like?
I did love that Kit was just crying the whole fight scene. She gets hit by a throwing star and just like
That was hilarious.
That was a bizarre look too when like the throwing stars are going. She opens the door and like just blocked for a second. I thought they were gonna like ignore the fact. I was like, that's a weird. Oh, she's gonna like see that and freak. But yeah, that was
it was so nonsensical. And then they get to where they're going, and Willow's like, "Well, okay, let's go back."
Well,
every single character's like, "Okay, let's go." Like we didn't know that like that it was. That there was gonna so stupid, and then Willow even says, "I didn't know that the journey was going to be so long." And because I was going back and editing episode 2 recently, he straight up says it's going to be a long journey, and I will be gone for a long time.
Yeah.
So that was a dumb line, but I did like the way that they were that he's being messed with, and the flash with him and Mims, and like I don't know, I kind of liked a little bit of that.
And then
I also kinda like
the solution is to commit suicide at the end, right?
They knew that. I don't know. I'm even okay with the like, yeah, we've come to what we think is the end, and we have to take a leap of faith, basically, kind of thing. Although the
How do
fact
you
that
get back?
then did
How
just
on
actually
earth
hit
do you
water,
get back?
They should have.
I was thinking that verse 17. I was like, how? Like, can you fly? Can magic make you fly?
I'm so confused about the logistics of this world building. None of it makes sense.
Yeah.
What are the geographics? In some,
How,
it's supposed to be
how
a sea.
on earth do people even know the name, the Immemorial City? How?
Exactly.
How do people know it exists?
It's just like Game of Thrones, right? You know,
No,
in the first
it's
season.
not. Shut up.
In the first season, it takes them 3 months to travel from King's Landing to Winterfell, and then in season 8, they do it in like 13 minutes and 12. Like Domino's Pizza doesn't even deliver that fast.
They literally do it
concept for
like
this
before
show.
the sun sets.
Yeah,
the same day.
Like, it's like we've got to be here, and then suddenly like a magic portal away. And then,
Yeah.
I will say there was a ton of those other like dumb writing things, but one other thing that I did like was we're gonna have to walk across the shattered sea, and then they ride for forever, and basically it's not until they actually walk that they get across. Because to me, I at least interpret that not as that they actually went the right distance they needed to go, but that the real thing was that they had to show the faith and walk, and then show the faith. So like that writing concept was good. It was just surrounded with a bunch of other garbage.
Oh, the guy that they meet, right?
It's really random. I don't know what his purpose is.
Well, so he mentions that the princess story, right? And then the princess, the evil lady who says she's a princess, says the same story, that she was this princess. And so you're like, well, who is this person? Like, none of it makes sense if she's supposed to be the crone, or if she's supposed to be like Bev Morta's spirit who's exiled on this other plane or something. Like, none of it makes sense. I don't know where they're going. But then also, there was 2 of him, and that tipped off Zero.
I don't know.
Why were there 2 of him?
So
I didn't catch that. It was super weird.
Yeah, he was making them breakfast, and there were 2 of him, and he said, "We got to get out of here now." And I don't understand what they were even going for.
To me, I think what was going on was we basically one of those is supposed to have been one of the bad guys that can shapeshift or something like that. At least I agree with you.
But why
It
was he
not
just
done-
hanging? Was the old man dead? Was she just pretending to be him?
Overall, I agree with you. It was not done well, and I'm just guessing. But the way that I understand that is the old man was out either making him breakfast, and the other one in the background was the fake one. I think probably, or maybe they were both fake, but it was that it was that double thing gave him away. And so I even kind of like the fact that like, oh,
I
a
don't-
second dude
yeah.
kind of gave it away, but
I don't think
was
both
just
of them are fake
completely
because I think, and I'm not sure because I think I saw him in the boat when they left because Graydon just knocks him out, and I think they leave with him, but then he disappears. But
But
I don't know.
If
I'm
the
hard.
person had taken his place as a shapeshifter, why would he not be tied up somewhere? Why are they both in the same room, both
Yeah.
making breakfast?
There was
None of it
really-
makes sense.
It was very
Yeah.
confusingly done, but I like at least the idea that there was something with that, but they didn't do it well. Yeah.
But it was nonsensical. It could have been done well.
It was literally those random cultists or whatever turning into not Gandalf
Yeah.
in Rings of Power.
It
It's
was.
like why do that? It's just
I'm
Yeah.
definitely I definitely had the same exact thought, and I'm using that in my meme edit. So
yes.
There's a scene in one of the Rick and Morty episodes where the Ricks from the other universe are chasing our Rick and Morty from the show, and they get into this restaurant, and he's like, "We're looking for two people that are exactly like us. So I'm going to do this right now." And he grabs a red marker and he writes an X on his head. And he goes, "If someone has a question, if someone has a gun and they're saying shoot the real one, you'll know me by the red X on my head." And then skip like 30 seconds later, and that they take off. "Hey, you didn't pay your bill." And the guy he's like, red X, don't you see?" Making fun of the same crap. Like, why are anyway?
Yeah, but why did Graydon knock the other guy that probably was a real person and just leave him to
I don't
be
know.
food for the crow? It's like
Know what
Maybe
were
they
even
both were
going
fake,
for.
and somehow they just forgot to coordinate who was out there faking
I
it at the time.
don't understand
Yeah.
I don't understand what they were trying to do, and I don't understand what was actually portrayed. Like I don't even know what they would have been going for.
The
Yeah.
little bit of the except it was just so confusing with the rest of it and how like it makes how it doesn't make sense as the case may be in that world. I really did like the way it was presented for half a second there of the subtle. He's out there talking to him, and the one walks out, and they don't draw attention to it. Like it was shot well, but then it didn't make sense in the story. I don't know. Does that make sense? Where like when the other one walks out,
Yeah.
I'm noticing that,
But
being
it
like,
just brought up questions that
Yeah.
are not answered or even addressed.
and you're absolutely
that
right.
very
It's almost like the people shooting it did a really good job, but again, the story wasn't there, and then they didn't. I don't know. It was really really weird because I almost wanted to like that.
yeah.
You're right. It left a lot of questions. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's weird.
This is a good question. The first movie is honestly pretty good. The plot is lackluster, but it's a fun time, and the characters are really well written and likable. And then the second movie takes all of the things that were good in the first movie and destroys them.
And the third movie is like, ooh.
And I haven't seen the third movie yet because I really don't want to.
It's an
I
HBO, bro. It's like one of the dumbest things that I've seen in my life.
The-
But you're right. Like the first and second movie are good. Are good enough for a
Here's the
Harry
thing.
Potter movie, which is still Harry Potter. It's not the most complex story in the world. The world building was good, but the third movie is like imagine they take all. Jesus, it's just like Martina says, it's just a mess that makes no sense, and it serves nothing because at the end they are like, "Oh, remember that everyone was supposed to be." It's like that episode of Rick and Morty where they are supposed to do everything random because of heist robot. This heist robot
So they can't be
always
predicted by heist
exactly. It's exactly the same. They probably watched that episode. Are they going to do that movie? It's the same, exactly the same. But it doesn't make any sense at the end because it's like we already knew that this person was going to be the only one that had the plan. So it doesn't make sense why everyone else was doing something random.
Mhm.
And because the lover of the gay lover from Dumbledore can see the future, so they're like trying to do everything random.
My biggest problem with the third movie really was because it comes down to like this election, right? That's what they say. If I'm spoiling it for you at this point,
I already know.
Well, like I said, I don't care.
Not a good movie.
They
So
have
it doesn't
this
matter.
like election, right? We're going to elect our leaders, but then they have this like chinchilla-looking baby deer pick their leader because it supposedly can pick someone that's pure of heart or whatever.
It's not an election, but go on.
No, that's what I mean. That's the thing. Like they have this election, like they're going through all these countries in Europe where the different ministries of magic, and they're having an election, and then suddenly, like they get to the final three, and this little like deer gets to pick.
So you're saying it's as poorly designed as Quidditch.
Well, what it really was is they just did a really, really terrible job of portraying the fact that the chillin' thing, like it chose a person that it thought was worthy, and then they just jumped to the idea that everyone has voted for that. Like,
that was the one thing that took me off. It's like, all right, you had an election to get to this point, and then suddenly this little animal gets to pick who's the leader of all of you, and you're all just supposed to be like, oh, yes, chinchilla. Oh, yeah. We will bow to the grace of the baby deer that was just barely born.
It honestly was just poor storytelling in the fact that they took this idea of, because we used to let this thing choose for us, when it chooses something, we just know everybody's going to vote that way, and so just as soon as it chooses it, they say, "Oh yeah," and then everybody voted for them.
Well, it goes. The thing is it goes to Dumbledore.
Even go into
right?
the fact that they voted for him.
The deer goes to Dumbledore at the end. If I'm ruining it for you, like I said, I don't care. It goes to Dumbledore, and it does this little bowing thing in front of Dumbledore, and Dumbledore's just like, "No, I don't want it. You need to pick somebody else." So the deer's like, "Okay," and it walks over to another person. And it's like, "You're the one."
And he's like,
"Second." I thought this wasn't a democracy. I thought you didn't have a choice. I thought the magical creature was just like, you are the king.
Yeah. Well, and also, honestly, like Dumbledore, while always has been a good person, he's never been, like, I don't know. He's always been a more complex.
A person that was pure of heart. You don't have to be good to be pure of heart. You just have to have a pure heart.
But he was never in the books. He's never pure of heart. He's a pretty messed up guy. Like everyone else is messed up.
Dumbledore's gay. He can't be pure of heart.
It is. Yeah, it's terrible.
I don't know.
The movie itself is actually very good. Like the movie itself is actually pretty good up until the end, and then it's just like.
I mean, the directing and the acting is good, and the effects are really good. The effects are really good. That
the story and the actors do really good. And I'm sorry, I can't remember who plays Grindelwald in the third one.
Mads Mikkelsen.
It has gone. It has gone from one. Grindelwald has gone from one actor to another actor to another actor, and he's got to pick up the pace. And he does a very, very good job, but he doesn't do a good a job as Johnny Depp.
Yeah, of course. Johnny Depp is just a legend.
Johnny Depp had that whole devil, the good devil look. Like
they totally should have just gone back.
You couldn't help but like him. With this one, he does a very good job, but it's his own take. And again, they let politics get involved in it. Instead of making a good movie, they were like, "Oh, well, we're just going to do this, that, the other thing, and screw him because of his court case with Amber Turd and all that stuff." They screwed themselves.
Yeah, I would say I
did a very good job. It's just very hard to pick up that character after that character has been betrayed in two other movies by two other completely different actors.
Well,
I think that Colin Farrell did a better job as the villain than Johnny Depp did.
Well, and the only thing that I'll say about that though is that the transition from Colin Farrell to Johnny Depp was an intentional part of the story that they were going to do.
Right.
It was that was a fake face.
I'm hearing children weeping, wailing, and gnashing of teeth. I will jump back on if I can.
Okay.
But so the first transition was intentional, but the second transition, and he's right. He did a good job with what he did, but it was definitely a new take. But I mean, it's kind of like what you get with when you went from the one Dumbledore to the other. They were very different because they're just so different. They weren't trying to do impressions of each other. So
but
I've been watching them. they were fine, but I agree with all the criticisms. 2 got a little confusing if you weren't like really
Two,
following
two,
what's
no,
going
no,
on.
no, 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 no. 2 didn't get confusing. 2 makes absolutely no sense. Even if you follow the logic, it's retarded.
Exactly.
It contradicts itself constantly. It's not a problem of 2 being confusing. It's a problem of 2 being stupid.
It tried to be really complex, and I think that there might. I hope, and maybe I'm just giving too much credit where credit isn't due, but like I think that there's actually supposed to be something that does make sense in there, but they
It
only
doesn't.
give you a piece of the information, so it doesn't make
followed
sense.
along with the story they were trying to tell. It's just a bad story.
But what I'm saying is that I think that the reason it didn't connect is because they didn't reveal all the information. I think
maybe,
but
still a bad thing to do. My biggest problem, though, we haven't even talked about it yet. The best part about the first movie, the most charming aspect of it, was the relationship between the Muggle and the sister.
Oh yeah,
their relationship was fantastic.
Yeah,
and then the second movie opens with, "Hey, she's a rapist now." She's date raping him.
Well, she's mind controlling him so that he's.
That's called date rape.
Yeah,
right. Yes.
She's roofing him.
The only reason that I
It
don't
makes no sense
care
because
about
the second movie ended with, "Hey, my mind has been erased, but we're going to choose to be together anyway because our love is so strong." And then the second movie opens with, "Hey, no, we don't want to be together anymore because it's against the law, and apparently we care about that now, but I love him so much that I'm date raping him and erasing his memory so he doesn't leave me." That is retarded.
Yeah, and I don't think it was the Imperial curse. I think it was something else that she was doing to him. But either way,
she has this thing that she can read minds, but she can also influence them. In the third movie, they go on about that better, but it's not better. It's just dumber.
And her transition to the dark side makes absolutely no sense. It's just retarded.
It almost does because Grindelwald does the whole like, oh. Yeah, I want to fight against these people that have made this law that makes it so you can't be those people,
but
he's just a bad person manipulating her. So,
spoiler alert: in the third movie, they get back together, and now everything's good.
Yeah,
and everything's fine. And it doesn't matter that she was raping him.
Well, and even more, they like completely ignore the fact that she was working with this terrible dark wizard for for however long it was.
Yeah, not only that, she actually was like crucial part of his plan. Like she was really helping him. She was really helpful, and in the whole series of movies, she's not helpful at all. But for Grindelwald, she's really, really helpful.
It just does a complete 180. The first movie ends, and the second movie starts, and they're just completely different stories.
Yeah,
it makes no sense.
And Ezra Miller is just dumb. Like his character is just dumb. Like it's just like his magic is just dumb. And although the effects are good, like they look good, but it's just stupid. It makes no sense. His magic starts like destroying and degrading things, but in the third movie they are like fighting with Dumbledore and this guy, and they are it's just that scene is just dumb. It's like a great effects, but just stupid.
The answer is because this is in America and it's illegal in America.
No, and it was the past. It was like 19.
It's also a prequel, and I guess we're racist or something in the past.
Yeah. my issue with this series is a compounding of an issue with the entire Harry Potter franchise as a whole, and that is one thing that is never really addressed is the relationship between the magical world and the Muggle world.
Oh, right? Yeah, it's never
one thing that's it's so convoluted and stupid and confusing. It doesn't make sense how this magical world exists, and yet they don't know anything about Muggles and how they work, and it's just I don't know that.
I know,
that always bothered
like
me.
her. There's a part in the books where it mentions that like they don't even know math.
Yeah,
and
it's like
how on earth could you even pretend to fit in with
Yeah,
Is that
regular
actually
society.
joke in the books, or in the books or movies or whatever? Or is that just something that people have pointed out that they don't have a math class?
No, like there's a throwaway comment. Yeah, where they're like,
Really?
they literally like, how
I'd
on
have to
earth
find
could
that.
they be expected to be
Yeah.
to even hide in society? Like,
Or how
that's
do
the whole
they-
thing.
It's so ridiculous. So I thought that with this series, it's like, oh, this is cool. We're going to be able to see, how the
Interact.
magical world works in America and how
And the
that
answer
compares
is
and
they
the
don't address
politics. And they don't address it. They don't address how the politics works between the American and the British magic, and they don't address further the magical systems and the Muggle world. And it's just, I don't know.
But if you can just have fun with the fact that hey, there's this secret
Sure.
magical world, then you can get past that. That's
I agree. I did enjoy the first movie. The other ones were just complicated. And
The first movie is
convoluted.
great. The first movie is
So-
really good. Well, the really good is in a stretch for,
I-
but it's
I
Harry
like-
Potter.
I like the first one. It's good.
The first one's
I-
fun.
can't bring
Yeah.
myself to watch the third one.
Yo, but the video game, Hogwarts,
Hogwarts
Legacy.
Legacy. Hey,
Looks
That looks
awesome.
amazing.
shout out to all my
awesome.
white supremacists in the comments. We gotta buy Hogwarts Legacy pre-sale, and because we're all bigots and transphobes. So rally together, everybody.
But what's
and-
the
and let's
symbol?
play some
The-
Hogwarts Legacy, baby.
Yeah.
The
white
symbol, you know,
supremacist
the-
okay symbol.
The
Okay,
Reddit,
everybody,
the
buy
Reddit,
buy
you
Hogwarts
know,
Legacy.
the dumbest Reddit conspiracy theory. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. But it
Yeah,
looks
I forgot about it.
amazing. It's
It
oh
looks
my
really
God.
good.
Yeah, I
like,
hope it makes Game of the Year.
I complain about Harry Potter all the time, but like I kind of want to buy the game. I don't know if I could spend money on it or if I'd even have time to play it, but it looks fun as heck.
It
Yeah, it
does
looks
look
fun.
interesting. I'm curious to see what they do with it to make it fit into the. I mean, because it doesn't need to fit super tight into, but I wonder how it's
Yeah,
gonna.
it's a video
play
game.
into
Video
the
games
world.
never fit in.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I mean, has J.K. Rowling was involved a little bit, but not enough. But it looks good. It doesn't matter. It's like a cool open world, and we have been missing cool open worlds. Oh well, Elden Ring was amazing, but no, we are
And-
not going to get an Elden Ring like for 10 years probably.
And like,
Yeah.
boo-hoo, I'm sorry if you have to read one book by an author whose politics you don't agree with, because the rest of us have been doing it our entire lives with literally every piece of media that we consume. We have to
Mhm.
separate the artist from the art because you're all psychopaths who have no morals.
Yeah, most of the classics were written by people that probably had either slaves or or went to places where there were not a lot of black people. So
Like,
Mm.
can you just? I just can't even. The audacity of these people. Like anyone who has any kind of conservative background, anytime they step foot in Hollywood, has to wade through miles and miles of propaganda. But these people can't bring themselves to enjoy media that was created by J.K. Rowling, who disagrees with them on one thing. The rest of her politics, 98% of her politics are 100% your wacko leftist crap. But she disagrees with
Yep.
you on one thing.
on the most
I haven't
logical
looked
one,
into it.
it's like okay, men cannot get be beating women in sports. It's just
Boo hoo!
Well, I was
I'm
gonna say,
so sorry that
I've
you
only-
can't
I've only
enjoy Harry
seen-
Potter anymore.
I've only seen little
Yeah.
bits of it, but from most of what I've seen, she hasn't even been that wacko. Like that
No,
that
No,
far,
she is.
far off of their
She
stuff. She's
is.
just like I don't.
it is
get it
very
because
reasonable
it's-
what she is saying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So she's not even saying
Exactly.
like I hate. She's just saying I don't get it. This doesn't really make sense or work for me. But whatever.
She's
Yeah.
I don't do you remember she
No,
straight
no,
up
no,
created a charity to help women who have been abused and doesn't want men to be able to participate because that's a trigger for women who have been abused by men.
And
But
some
she's-
of them,
but-
like, and she
but
said it.
she's
Some
evil.
of them, like 1% or something like that. It's a small number, but some of them were abused by trans women. Or, I don't even know men that
Yeah.
say that they are women.
I don't even know how to say it either, man.
It's confusing as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more confusing for a Mexican. For a Mexican, trust me, bro. It's like, oh, f your damn pronouns. I'm not going to do that, bro. I'm going to say you saying that I need to learn your pronouns. It's xenophobic because it's kind of easy. No,
I'm yeah, that
It
would
is. It's
really,
right,
really
right.
hard
Like
with-
it is.
with gender
Spanish is a
fluidity.
gendered language.
Mhm.
So
It
you
is.
trying to mess it up is it's xenophobic. Y'all are
Yeah.
racist as heck.
Mhm.
I would say that is racist, and they are like they crumble and they like
Changing Latin to Latin X because they don't want to put an O or an A at the end of it. That is the most racist thing. That is so racist. And I'm
Mhm.
not even joking. Like I genuinely think that is bigotry.
Yeah, but when
Yeah.
they say that to the lefty, they are like, "Oh, you are woke too. You say that you are not woke, but you are using because how else do I speak with you? You utter this nonsense every day, and when someone uses it against you, you're like, oh, no, it doesn't apply, or they go in overdrive and they cannot get it because they are racist. They are
Also, Latinx sounds like Kleenex, and that's stupid.
They sound like Mexican clinics, like
I
like
blow
a
my
Mexican
nose in
brand.
your
all
general
those
direction.
Mexicans, they're just boogers. Racism. Anyway, Willow sucks.
Yeah,
We
Willow
were
sucked
done.
a
We were
lot.
done talking about it anyway.
I,
But,
I was gonna, yeah.
I mean, it was, it was.
there's only one more episode, guys. It's
Thank
over
God.
next week. It's
How
over
are
next
they
week.
even going to, the ending was so dumb. Like now the two strong female characters are going to fight the evil by themselves.
Yeah,
Apparently, yep.
is everyone else just not following?
No.
I don't.
It's like, okay, they died. They died. We go home now. They all dead. Elora, the key to everything. Plus, she's the key to everything, and she's going face forward. First,
What
to
scares
danger.
me the most, though, is that all these vision sequences have shown this huge battle scene with a bunch of soldiers lying dead, and you know that that's not going to happen in this next episode, which
Yeah,
implies that they want to do a season 2, and I'm so scared. I don't want to watch more. Of this.
I don't think they're going
I don't
because
want to
the
keep
ratings,
watching the show.
the ratings are abysmal. I think they are getting beaten by House of the Dragon, which has been out for like
So
3 months now.
That being said, how are they not gonna like that? That's a pretty like the only reason to do that is if you know you're getting a second season, that you have flash forwards to a scene that isn't until next season.
It can't happen in this finale. They're fighting on a different
And I can't
place.
see how
There
it
are no
could, but
armies.
Also, like, how can they not get to that? Because they're trying to pretend like they have a guaranteed second season, and so unless they do, that's a pretty bold
Yeah,
thing.
but that's something that some shows do, like trying to coerce
Thank you
the
so
the
much.
production.
Thank you, Martina. Alora's costume is horrible.
Hey, she started getting a jean jacket. Oh,
disagreed
one
with
thing
me.
that we have not been talking about, and I've been like, wait, why is so? Her hair is turning red now that she's using magic.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
It's because she's
nobody's
not
addressed
dyeing her.
that.
No, it's
Nobody's
because she
addressed
can't dye her hair anymore.
I guess, but it like it
Because
was
she's
like
been adventuring.
half red for a little while, and then she did another big magic thing, and then it was all red. Like
It's because
was it
they
dyeing?
wanted to trick you. They wanted you to think that the lesbian was Alora Dannon. The freckled
but-
lesbian was going to be Alora Dannon, and they tricked you. Haha, you big stupid dummy. They tricked you in episode 1. Turns out she wasn't Alora Dannon. It's the blonde chick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
and
but it's
somehow
just
in
because
medieval times
nobody
she was dyeing her hair perfectly blonde.
nobody has talked about it at all. Nobody's addressed
Exactly.
it. I completely. So first of all, if it is that she's not dyeing her hair anymore, that's way too fast of a transformation.
Yeah.
and way too complete of a transformation. So that's
Yes.
ridiculous. And again, even if
My
it was
roots don't start
someone
showing for
dyeing her hair,
weeks.
somebody would be like, hey, that really has turned red really, really fast.
Yeah,
And then
that's not
also-
how it would transition either, right? Like
Yeah,
it
no,
would.
absolutely.
You get roots, guys.
It has
No,
to be
Ladies, am I right? Talk
One
about
way or
them
another-
roots in the
one way or
hit me
another
up.
has to be
Hit me
that-
up in the comments with a tell me about your roots.
You're
Yes,
absolutely
man.
right, Jared. It has to be a magical thing.
Magical
And
thing where it's either magically turning red because it's overcoming the fact that she's not continually dyeing her hair, or
Right.
what I thought it was is the more that she uses magic, the more it just like, shocks itself into different colors. But once again, you still have characters that are just not addressing the fact that suddenly
Exactly.
this blonde chick is turning redheaded out of nowhere.
I was gonna give them props in the last episode of like, oh, they didn't just like
Yeah.
forget about her hair being red and just dismiss it with an off-brand comment. They actually worked it into the show. Her hair is turning red, and then they don't address it. I'm like,
Nobody addresses it. Yeah.
what the crap?
To be
Like,
fair,
they don't
neither did
care.
we,
It's so
but
messy.
because we had so much else to complain about. But
Anyway, there's
Yeah.
one more episode. It's almost over, and I just
looking forward to that.
please
What-
God don't let there be a season 2.
What do you intend to talk about after it's done?
Okay, so next week we're talking about the finale, and we're also talking about Wednesday. I'm so excited. But next week, the week directly after that, perfectly timed. I didn't plan this at all. Is Vox Machina.
Nice. Okay.
So we will have 4 weeks of Vox Machina because they're doing 3 episodes at a time again.
Oh dear.
Nice. I need to
So
finish.
there's
Oh,
12
okay.
episodes,
Catch
but
up
they're
on
short.
that.
They're 20-minute episodes. It's fine. You can watch
Yeah.
3 episodes of a sitcom, right? But also the same week is The Last of Us.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yes, the
It
19.
looks okay.
Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
see
A lot
how
of
that
things.
goes.
A lot of things are how do you say?
No,
estrenar?
sorry.
Estrenar.
No, I will not be watching Picard.
Oh, you no. You.
Archer actually good compared to the first 2 seasons, but I haven't watched any of it, so I don't know.
Yeah, but
Ah, there you go, guys. It's because we don't see color in the show.
If you haven't seen that College Humor sketch, look it up. It's brilliant and hilarious.
yeah, I don't
So
like
good.
college humor, but I'm going to watch that.
They
Just
used
for
to
you.
be good. They're not funny anymore. But this is an old.
They were good. Yeah, they were good when they
It's
started. They were
hilarious.
great, but then they got woke,
Yeah.
so they got.
I made a
broke and they-
great joke. It wasn't on the show, right? It was IRL. I made a hilarious I don't see color joke. Someone said something about like a black guy and was like, "Who?"
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't see color. I'm like,
Yeah, that's
like
exactly
I'm so
what this.
I
Yeah.
don't like if I see anyone of color, like I just dismiss them in my mind because I don't see.
normal
color.
word is great.
That's exactly what this sketch is from College Humor, and it takes it
Oh, normal world.
to
Yeah.
the next level. And it's so hilarious.
It's so beautiful.
It's like
It's only one episode.
I don't
man.
see anything, and they even make a statement about Bruce Willis, and they're like, "Oh, is he bald?" I don't see that. It's like, yeah, he's famously bald. It's like I don't see that. It's
I don't
Yeah,
see- like, it
normal
just
world
sounds-
was pretty funny
Yeah.
with Dave
Oh, it's
Landau
so
and Porter Black Garrett. Yeah,
Indeed.
yeah. So, do you guys want to watch Last of Us?
yeah, for sure.
We do
Yeah,
need a new
yeah,
show. If there's anything in the comments to watch that's not Picard, because I don't want to do that.
I'm going to
Last
because
of Us
I
is on Netflix, right?
No, Last of Us is HBO. So,
HBO. Okay, cool.
and Vox Machina is
It's
Amazon.
Amazon, yeah.
Yep.
Cool, cool.
So
Love that.
I'm also watching Bad Batch, but if you didn't, care
Oh
for the
yes,
first
I
season-
saw that launched. I haven't watched it.
Not
Have you
gonna
seen
talk
yet?
about it because I don't care.
It's fine. It's nothing special,
fine.
but it's fine. yeah.
Invincible season 2 is coming soon.
Yes, it doesn't have an official release date though yet, does it?
No, they said that in December will be the last month where we don't have update news about season 2. So we're getting we're getting an update sometime in January.
Okay. Cool.
yeah, there are a lot of things coming up on the 19. I don't remember other things, but I'm going to check what else is going to
Yeah.
start streaming in the 19, and then we can see if it's worth it. Probably not going to be that worth it as much as The Last of Us.
Yeah, Last of Us is probably the most important thing to cover.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know if you have any recommendations or if there's like a crappy show in the meantime we can watch. But
Yeah,
Not
I'm
not
very
pressure.
much looking forward to after next week because I think the stuff coming up down the pike is hopefully going to be better than what we've been watching lately. So
Well, but then they're going to announce Wheel of Time season 2, so
Oh yeah,
that it
Yeah,
should be
that's-
coming any day now. I don't know what they're doing, so they're twiddling their thumbs.
probably coming out
Yeah.
in February.
what does the Winters Network or winterscoming.com say about it?
Oh, so Winter's got you guys want to? We do have one of those articles today, and we totally forgot to do bad takes.
Yeah,
Oh,
let's-
yeah.
Let's do some bad takes, everybody.
Let's go.
Hold on. I gotta pull up the stinger because I made it and it's awesome. Here we go.
Screen Rants. Bad takes.
David, I got this one just for you. You watched The 100, right? The 100.
I watched like
Started.
the first 2 episodes of the 100. Like
I have never
a
seen this
long
show.
time ago.
I've never seen the show. I have no intention of ever watching it. But I read this headline, and it's got to be a bad take, right? Why it makes sense for the 100 to ruin all of their characters. Characters like, I'm sorry, Bellamy?
Yep.
Characters like Bellamy and Clark seemed to be ruined in the 100. But the series might have done this to make an important point about humanity.
that humanity is terrible.
Yeah.
It's okay. Crappy screenwriting is okay, guys, as long as you do it on purpose.
Yep.
I
This
mean,
was I don't remember much about it. I don't. We only got a couple episodes into it. It was very CW level of acting. The premise is they take a whole bunch of people that are convicts in some
And they send them down to
way
Earth
or
'cause,
another.
they have to like repopulate or something.
Yeah, to repopulate Earth, but they go through like some time loop or something like that to set up humanity for
Right.
the rest of them or something. I don't know. It was weird. It was dumb. The acting was terrible, so we never.
Can you
finished watching
imagine
that.
actually writing this article? Yeah, the show totally sucks, but it's on purpose, guys. So that's why it's good. They've literally systematically ruined every single character, but it's because that's the message.
Yeah.
I don't
You
care.
do that well, but
Okay.
yeah.
You were
oh,
asking about
season 4 of Ozark is coming out. I remember now.
season Ozark. That ended.
Yeah, pretty sure that.
Oh,
ended.
then I'm looking at something that's probably from the last year. okay.
Too much belly fat. Sorry, that's the wrong headline. Winter's coming, baby. The Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power season 2 is not coming in January of 2020.
Hey, this is
Yes.
something we should be celebrating because we're not having to be subjected to the Rings of Power Season 2 yet.
I love these guys so much. Don't ever stop writing these horrible articles. Pump them out.
You know what's
every
hilarious
single
about
month.
this
You know
though?
what? And I think you're not going far enough. I think you need to pump these out every week.
No, absolutely.
Not
You
only-
know what's hilarious about this particular article, though, is if you read it, they made a statement from the showrunners that says it's unlikely to happen anytime in 2023,
Yes. Yeah.
and they quote that in the thing. So they say, "Oh, it's not coming in January."
everyone
in fact,
knows.
it's probably not coming anywhere in 2023.
Everyone
which we
knows
already-
like we'll be lucky to get it in 2024.
right.
Like,
Will we be lucky?
Well,
Well,
not really.
lucky
I'm saying,
is, is
okay, I misspoke.
The showrunners would be lucky to get anything out the door by 2024.
Okay. This is hilarious though. Inside the Magic, we've had a couple articles by these guys. This is so funny, guys. This is the funniest thing ever. Chris Pratt was reprimanded. Let me start over. Chris Pratt was reprimanded after a controversial joke goes south.
Okay,
wait,
I
this is
haven't
the
heard
wrong-
this. What is this?
I haven't heard about this.
In a recent interview, and I quote, the husband of Catherine
This is just them name dropping.
Yep.
Catherine Schwarzenegger. I think he's more famous. Okay.
probably.
Revealed that a noon scene landed him in a bit of hot water during his time on the show.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec when he played the role of Andy Dwyer. Okay. He got in trouble. Okay. This is a recent interview. If you follow the link, it takes you to another article that was written in January of this year talking about a recent interview with Chris Pratt, talked about how he got in trouble. And the source is this video where he did a recent interview.
Graham Norton show.
Yeah. Any wild guesses as to when this happened?
Probably 2 years ago when Graham Show was like a thing.
Nope.
7
I was right. I got it. I said 7 years ago.
7 years ago. This is such old news. The story was he was on Parks and Rec, and there was a scene where he showed up naked at his ex-girlfriend's house, but Leslie Knope opens the door and she and she wasn't getting weren't getting the reaction that they wanted from her. So between takes, he took off his nude, his flesh-colored pants.
So he actually got naked
and answered the door naked, and her reaction is hilarious, and that's the one they used in the show, and it's funny. But he got in trouble. They're like, "Hey, you're not supposed to do that."
Sure, but
7 years ago.
Yeah.
This is just a prime example of soy babies who hate Chris Pratt because he's Christian, who will do anything to just drag his name through the mud because I guarantee you this article was written so that they could get a Me Too movement going against Chris Pratt because of something that he confessed to doing 7 years ago. It happened, obviously before that.
And had its own, this was a...
Not only that, but two people wrote an article at least about this week.
This is news, guys. This just happened, just barely.
Just barely 7+
This is a recent interview.
Yeah.
Screw you. I hate them. I hate
that one person jumps on it and then the other person just reiterates what they...
It's actually a super funny story. So if you want to Me Too him, good luck because it's freaking hilarious. And even the actress
was like nice and wholesome guy.
Even the actress was like, it was literally one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. So screw you. Wow. You can't cancel him for being Christian, boys. I'm sorry he disagrees with you on things. He's too handsome. We got news though. James Gunn is not the reason Henry Cavill is no longer Superman. Zack Snyder is. Which I get what they're trying to say here. This honestly isn't a terrible article. Okay,
saying because
because Zack Snyder
was canceled.
No, they're saying Zack Snyder set up a universe that with stories that people didn't like, right? He wrote the character in a way that people didn't like, so it's his fault that he's getting canceled. But also, it's also James Gunn's fault. This doesn't absolve James Gunn of the.
I still think it comes down to overall that they're going to reboot, and they've got to just recast clean slate.
Oh,
so the more that I'm hearing about, there's
it's not a full reboot.
They may not be clean slating it.
He's definitely he's not going to fire his wife.
He should.
He's not going to cancel his own show.
Which one's his wife? Is she on Peacemaker?
She's on Peacemaker, and she was in Black Adam.
And he should. Honestly, he really should.
There's rumors that they're keeping Ezra Miller, dude.
That one is the worst. I hope that's just.
I saw a Reddit thread where someone said that the new Superman should be Ezra Miller. I think it was a joke.
Here's the worst part about it. People keep asking him on Twitter, right? And he responds immediately. He's like, "Yeah, sorry, we're just moving. We're just doing something different." So no Henry Cavill. But when people ask about Ezra Miller, he's completely silent.
Because
he says a lot more than.
And I have heard that James. I think I'd heard at least one point that James Gunn was friends with Ezra Miller at one point. Whether or not that's still true, I hope it's not. But yeah, that's going to be interesting. I really hope he does not keep Ezra Miller.
I mean, if they do, they are probably going to lose a lot of people that were at least hopefully excited. I mean,
Yep. The only reason
excited
the
for
only reason at this
this
point to
one.
watch the Flash movie is for the possibility of seeing Ezra Miller die twice. Because we know that there's 2 Ezra Miller Flashes in it.
At least.
Yeah.
Oh my god! But it's going to be twice as lame and twice as bad. Probably with 2 extra meters, or whatever.
Which actually goes a lot to say, like, I enjoyed Ezra Miller in Zack Snyder's Justice League,
Mhm.
despite of everything, because he was directed so well.
Yeah.
He
And the
he wasn't
killing
good
of a no, that's not the movie with the Miller. We have to talk about Kevin, but that's great. That's great screenplay. It doesn't. It has nothing to do with the acting, and it's just great screenplay.
Yeah, screw Ezra Miller. He should be in prison,
Mhm.
not
Yep.
in movies. So,
Yeah, if he was Mexican, you already know he will be.
oh, if he was literally anyone not involved in Hollywood who hadn't, doesn't have damning evidence on all the producers he's sucked off, he'd be in jail. So,
Yeah.
this one's fun.
Well, whenever you get in trouble, guys, just say that you are non-binary. You're good to go.
So, I don't actually want to talk about this article. Superman's powers just got an upgrade in the comics. It's one of the horrible Screen Rant articles. But what is this picture?
Yeah.
What
It's pretty awful.
And why is Superman a lesbian now?
A buffed lesbian,
Like, that is not. If anyone knows, I can't find a source for this image. I don't know where it came from. I am so curious. I mean, not that curious, right? But
Not that
I
kind of
really want to know where this came from, because
Yeah, that's so
this
weird.
isn't from the comic that they're talking about. This is
Yeah.
the comic that they're talking about. It's this really cheaply made art. But
Ooh.
Still better than what
You do
that.
an image.
what is this?
You do a reverse image search on Google.
I don't know how to do that anymore. Search image with Google.
I'm going to try to do it later, just to
Yeah. Let me try it here. Let me look up the article.
It's just bring up articles. Oh, this one.
action.
Why
comics.
is he a lesbian though? No, this is not it. That's
Well,
definitely not the same thing.
That's the actual piece that they're talking about.
Yeah.
See, yeah, yeah. I'm so confused, but
Weird.
here's a real bad take. 5 actors who should replace Henry Cavill as Superman. Number 5,
Jesus.
no one. Number 4, no one. Number 3, no one.
No one.
Number 2, no one. And number 1, definitely no one. You should
What?
keep-
Why Darren Criss? Like,
you should
why?
keep Henry Cavill as Superman.
I know Darren Criss. He's the guy from Glee. And
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
probably
no.
the only good one from Glee.
I didn't even read this article. I saw the headline. I'm like, nope.
I don't recognize any of those people.
Oh, he's from
Well, and actually,
Euphoria.
I'm okay with that. I'd be fine if
So
since they
he's
are
from Glee?
recasting him.
Sure.
He's from Glee. He's from Euphoria. That's not. No.
I feel like I've
no,
seen him.
Pearl Harbor. No.
Ryan Murphy, another gay show.
Oh, he's gay. Okay, great.
I mean,
yeah.
it's Ryan Murphy, so he's probably gay or bi.
This guy was good in Dunkirk. That was a good
But
movie.
he doesn't look like
Doesn't look like
Superman at all.
Superman. What he
Yeah.
looks like is Superman's gay son. All of these actors look like the boy of steel. All of them.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to be going a little younger, but I hope they don't go that young looking. Because what I will say is, if and
James
since they
Gunn
are
does like to
casting
make
him,
jokes about that on Twitter. So.
then they might as well it'd be fine to do an unknown. That's good.
Oh, this guy's from Super 8. Oof, I hated that movie.
Mm.
No, it was good.
I mean, the ending was just
Super 8.
retarded.
Yeah.
I
mean, the whole movie is good, but the ending is like.
Martina's right though. He needs a jaw and a chin of steel. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was one of J.J. Abrams' movies that I actually really liked. I loved the premise of kids using a natural disaster to film their movie. Was so freaking cool.
Yeah, but the ending, bro, oof, I cannot stand the ending.
Yeah, the ending is just ET, right? It's
Yeah, it's just ET on steroids.
But man, it was so good. I
The whole
love
movie is great, and the way it's shot, and the directing, and the acting from the
the
kids.
acting
Is
was good.
Really,
The
really good.
kids were really good.
Really,
This was
really
just a
good.
couple years before Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And this was the movie I pointed to for how to direct kids. It was like
Mhm.
this, and then Stranger Things came out, and you're like, okay, that's the gold standard now for child acting.
Probably yes.
Until seasons, 3 and 4. But
3 or
whatever.
4. Mhm.
We got more bad takes though. Let's give Book of Boba Fett some love because despite some issues, it was still a good show.
He'll be gone.
I love that singer.
Amazon executive Vernon Sanders doubles down on diversifying Middle Earth for Lord of the Rings: Rings of Power season 2. Didn't we already talk about this? I think we already talked about it.
They're further diversifying in season 2.
He just doubles down on saying that he thinks it's a good idea. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, so they fired all the male directors. It's going to be all female directors for season 2.
Yeah, because that's going to solve all their problems.
And all of the casting is doubling down on diversity. So that's
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is going to solve is that now they can say, well, were already saying that everyone was sexist if they would criticize the show, but now they can say, oh, you're sexist because they were directed by women, and they're going to throw all the women under the bus, basically.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was going to be push and backlash. But the question is, from who? Who are these people that feel so threatened or disgusted by the idea that an elf or is black or Latino or Asian? We're not disgusted by that. Who are these people with the audacity to come into a fandom and find it problematic, but still call themselves fans of it and think that it needs to be fixed while still calling themselves fans? Who are these people who are so disgusted by the source material that think it needs to be fixed? Go screw yourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nobody who wasn't a shill or a moron liked this show.
Yeah, all of the actors are like, "Oh, shut up! If you hate the show, shut the hell up."
Morphe Clara, go screw yourself, Morphe Clara.
Well,
are awful.
It's probably the only way she can get it. So
yeah, because she has the face of a fish. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to talk about that anymore. But apparently, Amazon listened to Lord of the Rings fans' feedback for Rings of Power.
The feedback was, "Don't do it. Repent."
How did you write this article with a straight face?
Yeah.
Ryan Northrup. According to an Amazon executive, fans' studies were conducted after each new episode of Lord of the Rings: Rings of Power to gather feedback.
Maybe fans of the show, of the Rings of Power show, maybe not fans of the way they phrase it makes it think that they are fans of the Lord of the Rings. So
here's the direct quote, right? Which I haven't read yet. I'm surprised. We set up our own study with thousands of people, among them thousands of the Lord of the Rings fans.
My God,
doubt it, because if you found Lord of the Rings fans, you definitely didn't listen to them. To really have a conversation with them as each episode dropped to just understand how they were reacting. We were doing as much of a 360 comprehensive look to really understand it. That's a horrible sentence. And I think we got a lot of those, the Lord of the Rings fans, both fans of the book and fans of the movies. Here's the thing. Fans of the book are fans of the movies. You don't need to distinguish them because the movies were good at adaptation. So we also know that there were some fans who had issues or didn't feel like this is what they were expecting. That's putting it very softly, or done in a way that they expected, and that's natural. These people didn't realize anything. I think whenever you take on something that's beloved, you're going to have probably a strong reaction for and have some people who just aren't on board. Yeah, because you alienated them on purpose and told them to shut up for criticizing you. As we
Probably
just
because
barely saw.
they knew that it was pretty bad.
Here we go, name dropping, having Simon Tolkien and the Tolkien estate helping us, I think gave us some comfort that we're doing the best.
Screw
that we
Simon
could.
Tolkien, bro. Screw
And
that.
having their endorsement means a lot. Literally, the last sentence contradicts everything you've said. We listen to the fans. Yeah, we definitely, but having the Tolkien estate on board, let us know that we can tell them where to shove it.
Yeah, probably one of those reactions where people laughing. I don't think that people were not laughing in that, in those studies, if you can even call them that, control.
Yeah.
It's just such a bold-faced lie.
Mhm.
David, is this the comic that it actually?
That's the
comes from?
comic. I found it. Yeah.
You found it? Nice.
You found the right one. It's just an alternate cover. But yeah, it's an official artwork. That's good.
Even in this, he kind of looks like a
regular-
lesbian, right?
Eh,
The way he's smiling,
Yeah,
but it's
no,
better.
Yeah, the
fine.
face
It's
is
fine.
a
But
little
yeah,
bit.
scroll down. That's
This is the-
classic.
That's classic. Yep. Yep.
And then the next one.
What the hell?
It doesn't even look
the rest of it's not too bad. It's just like what is that face?
Yeah.
And the art inside is fine. That's fine art.
Is there another
Mhm.
picture of Superman?
There is. If you scroll down a little more.
Does he look like a lesbian?
No, it looks fine.
looks good. What is wrong with that
It's
picture?
just that alternate covers. Like
Yeah. I
let's
don't-
not finish
Even
the
like
face.
the proportions
hair.
are on his legs are
Yeah.
horrible. Look at that.
Yeah.
His muscles
That's-
look like
that's
he's
not-
having a
The
couple
muscles that
hernias.
happen with the S symbol are really bothering me. His pack on the end of that. I don't know, that's just
Yeah. It's all
Cover-
wacky, but the face is the worst part.
Okay.
Mhm.
What's it say there? The cover by Rafael Saramento.
Yeah,
Definitely
so
diversity hire, right?
Mm-hmm.
that's-
Rafael
Are you googling him?
Saramento. Yeah, because I hate him. Sarmento.
Ah, Sarmiento, maybe with that Y.
It's just
Sarmiento.
Sarmento.
Sarmento.
Rafael Sarmento.
Oh, okay.
All right, what else has he done? Let's see his other.
Probably
Bodies
nothing
of work.
else.
Oops. We're really on the fly here today.
Yeah,
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
yeah. Those he
Oh.
doesn't do face proportions well, does
Oh
he?
my gosh. Wait,
Yeah.
supposed to be
what
at
is
an
that
angle,
Batman?
really throwing that off.
That's not the picture. I don't like any of his faces.
What is that?
Well, that's the gay Superman.
Yeah,
That-
gay
that's
Superman.
supposed to be. Oh,
What is that?
what is
The overall composition is not
What?
bad.
No way.
what is that?
Yeah.
Okay, this
Yeah.
this is a prime example of someone whose parents never told him no, right?
Yeah.
He went to art school and no one ever criticized him.
I mean, like
The overall
everything.
This is
composition-
cool.
The overall
Everything else
composition is
was
good. The
cool.
coloring is good.
Exactly.
The shape is good.
The faces.
The faces
That's
and
very bizarre.
the proportions
Look at the-
of anatomy is just
That's black
awful.
guy.
Yeah, we'll get to that one. I saw it too. Okay, but look at this guy. That was not bad.
What is that?
Okay,
It's like,
look at
what's
this.
his name?
Look at this one though.
Oh no! Oh no! King Arthur.
Okay,
Oh my god.
I for one
Oh,
personally welcome our AI overlords. If this is the best that humanity can offer,
Yeah.
what is? Oh my!
What is going
What
on
is-
with the faces?
It's
Chin
every
nuts.
single face is just wrong. This looks like an AI
Oh, yeah,
trying
look
to
at that.
do a face.
Look at that one right above. You had your cursor on it above.
This one?
One down. Look, what is that?
He has no chin.
And the hands, like, oh my gosh.
Oh no! Oh, there's a
Stylized.
child. Okay, so there's someone in there. So the
Oh.
neck is that's why you can't see it.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, those hands.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I don't even hate all this art because it's just very stylized or whatever.
That,
But
that
when
one
you're
is a
trying
bit
to
more
make
stylized, you're right. But
and you make the like cheekbones bigger than the jaw.
This
like,
is self-portrait.
he's
This
gonna
has got to be a
have black
this has
hair.
got to be a self-portrait, right?
yeah.
Oh man, I hate these.
And he made
I
an
don't want to hate
Aztec
on the guy too
eating
much.
a heart.
'Cause
Wow.
it's a lot better than I can do.
Yeah, way better.
And
He's probably
his
Mexican.
coloring and his shading is amazing.
And a lot of this,
It's
it's
just-
just really
I
not
know
like
he's
for me,
Brazilian.
but at the same time, like this I don't mind. It's the where it was the Superman was definitely not good though.
I hate
Yeah.
his profiles. I hate those.
Yeah, they're
Every
they're
single
yeah.
profile
weird.
I've seen.
I bet
Dread?
they're
Oh, come
potentially
on.
stylized looking thing, but I don't like it.
That is
Yeah.
they're like that
The
is
composition is fine though.
that is not a man, right?
Yeah. Right.
Just cover up.
Yeah.
I can't. Here.
Let's move on. We've wasted too much time on this.
But it was fun.
Poor
Listen
guy.
feedback. Okay, so this one I gotta share a different window because there's sound. This is a short on YouTube from Screen Rant, and it's the funniest thing.
I didn't know they did.
Here we go. I've got it ready.
Stories.
I had to scroll down to pause it. Can you guys you hear that?
It's a bit
Yeah.
loud, but yeah.
Okay, so here we go, everybody.
Marvel's Phase 4 has been more loyal to the comics than any of the others. Like in Loki, where we see two comic-accurate versions of Loki, President Loki and a Loki variant dressed in Loki's original costume. Or Sam Wilson from The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, adorning his comic book version of the Captain America suit. There's also Wanda Maximoff finally becoming the true Scarlet Witch from the comics. And a shout out to the comic book Quicksilver in WandaVision. And let's not forget, for the first time, Thor in his original comic book costume. Now that's staying true to the source material.
Okay. No. Easter eggs and cameos are not staying true to the source material.
I was
This
gonna
is
say-
all surface level.
There
yeah.
were some nods
I was going
to
to say
classic comic books that were appreciated. That's not staying true to the source material.
yeah.
Exactly.
Well, then again, there is some source material out there that's probably worse than some of what we've got. There's a lot of really good stuff that they're not, but yeah, every statement they made
Yeah.
about the things that were showing up were things that came from the comics and they're technically accurate until they get to the like, this makes it accurate to the comics.
Oh,
And accuracy of the comics isn't even the most important thing. Like, come on.
oh gosh. Oh, it's so funny. Oh, sorry, I missed some comments while I was looking for that stuff. But yeah, Simon Tolkien is the one who said he wanted no, it wasn't Gandalf or Aragorn. He said he wanted Sauron to be like Walter White.
Mm.
He wanted him to be sympathetic and it's stupid. So
Yep.
yeah. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, I think you're right, Mark Clark.
100%. As
I
far
think
as Marvel goes, 100%. I still am holding out hope that Star Wars is going to be redeemed in some manner, but
Why?
Marvel is dead.
No, I just wanted
Because
to
I
look-
love Star Wars, bro.
Yeah,
Star
but-
Wars is the greatest thing.
I
that-
did too, but
ever.
that Star Wars died well before Marvel did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Star Wars died when Disney bought it. And the only thing you can do is hope that they are going to keep losing money, so they decide to sell it out for way less than they bought it for. And then maybe something good like HBO actually gets it, and perhaps we get like in 10 years a actually good Star Wars
I mean,
universe.
think about it. Avengers Infinity War wasn't that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty recent.
Right.
Marvel has only very, very recently, post Infinity War, just gone downhill. Star Wars has been dead a lot longer than that.
I
and
disagree
unfortunately,
with that.
Star Trek has
Oof.
been dead even longer than Star Wars, and
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Bad
I agree.
reboot. Yeah, bad reboot.
As far as the movies go, for sure, Rise of Skywalker killed off the movie franchise, but I still think they're doing some interesting stuff with the TV series. Notwithstanding the terrible Boba Fett and Kenobi, everything else they've done on the TV show side has been decent.
Disagree.
Mandalorian,
Yeah.
just that.
Season
Season
Mandalorian
1.
is good. Andor is freaking fantastic.
Okay, Andor is good. Yeah.
That batch has been fine.
Yeah.
And then Tales of the Jedi I actually liked. I know.
I liked 2 of the Tales of the Jedi.
Andor was good until the last episode. I really didn't like the finale at all.
I'm Star Wars shilling out here.
It wasn't bad though. It was just lackluster. Finale.
Even the stuff that I have, like even stuff like Book of Boba Fett. I was talking to my brother today. Like it was just such a lackluster show, but there were things that I liked in it, and same thing with Obi-Wan. And I'm holding on.
Obi-Wan,
willing to let go of them.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah, Obi-Wan had
Mark,
great...
will you just end this conversation with some rocks, please?
I mean, Boba Fett.
I love Star Wars too much to let it go.
Yeah,
I'm hoping something happens.
If you love it, let it go.
No.
Yes.
I refuse.
Letting go makes the heart grow fonder.
See,
there we go.
You know, if there's never a good Marvel movie coming out in the future, I'll be fine. There's plenty of other good adaptations. I can go back. I can watch the old stuff. I can watch the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. I can go back to the comics. I can read all that stuff. Star Wars, it's just the OG trilogy and the prequels, you know?
Yeah.
And Rogue One. And it's just
okay.
I just want there to be more good stuff. I love Star Wars so much.
Okay, sure.
So, anyways,
it is dead.
I'm an optimist.
And it would need to be.
If it was dead, then Andor would have sucked. Andor was fantastic.
If it was dead,
Andor
would come out.
I didn't
exactly
Andor because of Star Wars, though. And I'm saying if you want to revive Star Wars, you would literally need a necromancer.
Well,
no, but that's why I said, like, if you really love Star Wars, you have to hope for someone else to buy it and do some justice to the brand, because Disney is not going to do it. They only care about money. We can see that now. Maybe HBO. I hope for the love of God, Amazon doesn't buy it.
I'm so scared about HBO now too, though. Like, they used to be the only hope I was holding. But
why do you think that?
Well, because of James Gunn.
But that's
in charge of all of HBO. He's just in charge of DC.
Yeah,
and I don't know. He hasn't actually even come out with anything yet. So I'm still holding out.
But his decisions previous, they are really.
Yeah, I'm still hoping, but I'm terrified for HBO. They used to be my only.
I'll even say I'm still optimistic, but that's because I'm the optimistic one on.
Help us, HBO. We're our only hope. And
now I think the new show, the new Scooby-Doo one, the Vilma show is coming out on the 19th. I'm going to
already out. Oh gosh, that looks horrible. Don't make me watch that, please. You already made me watch it.
No, hell no.
well,
Okay.
you have to give us your report, though.
I'm going to tell you everything about that.
We're done with bad takes, and now it's on to some good memes to help. Give us a little
sanity.
Give us a little upper after that massive downer. Isn't that just the most just completely unaware? I need to. That one deserves a stinger too. That one deserves this.
He'll be gone.
Because it's so okay. Here's some memes. Kristen Dunst says the pay gap between her and Spider-Man co-star Tobey Maguire was extreme.
Because no one goes to see a Spider-Man movie to see Mary Jane. They go to a Spider-Man movie to see Spider-Man.
Did you read? Oh, that's good. I know you assumed it just said I missed the part where that's my problem, but it's even better than that.
Yeah,
I
that's good.
missed the part where the movie is called Mary Jane.
I'll even give that
Yes.
there may be some room for conversations around that concept, but so often it is misapplied to situations like this, where it's like,
Exactly.
no, this is the star that has a name that has been working for longer.
Yep.
So you, as a newer person, regardless of anything else, wouldn't be being paid as much. That's not what's going
Yeah.
on. That's not
Yeah.
gendered issues.
And forget
Exactly,
about that. Like she's probably Kristen Dunst is probably the second worst Mary Jane, just because there's Zendaya, who is terrible. I don't know how she keeps getting job. She's just bored. She just acts like a bored person all her movies, shows, and whatever. I really like Emma Stone, but I like her, as an actress, regardless of
Emma Stone
the
was
Amazing Spider-Man.
fantastic.
Kristen Dunst is just like, I mean, she has a good screen, but apart from that, is
Emma Stone wasn't even playing Mary Jane. She was playing
Yeah,
a
she
character,
was
but she was great.
Yeah. See, but the thing is here, nobody ever brings this stuff
You're
up
right, you're right.
when it's a female-led movie. You know,
Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst has been the star, the lead actress in
Who's
her
been
own
paid the most,
shows.
yeah.
But they
I
don't
know,
bring
I was
those
hoping
up,
to
right?
expect that she
Because
was
I'm
being paid
assuming, when she played Marie Antoinette or whatever, it was that
She probably the
she was
highest paid in
probably the
that
top
movie.
billed actress,
And by a mile, probably.
There are
No
other-
one else was like.
right?
Mhm.
But
There are
they
other
only bring
situations-
it up in these cases, like, oh, I wasn't paid as much as Spider-Man. Yeah, because you're a supporting actress.
You,
You're not the main star.
And that's the thing. So like there's ones where it's worthwhile to maybe have some conversation. There's some of these that they do awful things with that. But like talk about that one and don't talk about this, because this is just blurring your message, because it
Exactly.
makes it seem like it's less of a problem than it might be,
Yeah, but
This
in
is not a
most
problem.
movies and shows, there's always like a main, main character. One is not, well, some cases
It's-
there are both. There are
it's
two.
like when you keep calling us bigots. If you call everyone a Nazi, the word just loses all meaning.
Yeah.
And it undercuts your own argument, because
Exactly.
there's truth in some of your arguments, but you undercut
Sure.
it so constantly by leaning on it so hard and polarizing it so hard.
And in order to get any progress done, you need to bring up examples of actual legitimate criticism,
And you need to
not
come to
this
the
crap
table-
like this.
You need to come to the table with a conversation, not with with just hatred.
But I didn't get
Exactly.
paid as much as Leonardo DiCaprio, David. I didn't get paid as much as him.
Nobody gets paid as much as him.
I will say
Exactly.
yes. It's Emma Stone's voice, because
Oof.
she's not like the most drop dead gorgeous woman on the planet, but her attitude and her voice, really, that's what sells it.
Mhm.
True that.
That's for sure. Here's another meme from the same Epic Verse. They're great. What women have done to comics and video games, men should do to Lifetime movies. Be all like, all my life, I've been a fan of Lifetime movies. Directing one has always been my dream. And then make a movie about women with giant tits fighting aliens in Napoleonic era. I loved it. I love it so much.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, if there were going to be women with giant tits, they were probably from the Napoleonic.
I watched that movie.
I watched that. I watched the hell of it. I watched it 5 times.
I'd buy that for $1. I don't have that
Wow.
clip queued up, so I gotta do it. RoboCop, baby. Okay, one more. And we got a bit. We're ending things with the Babylon Bee.
Hell yeah.
AOC was just added to the Iwo Memorial for surviving the Capitol riot.
Yeah.
I hope all you guys had a great January 6th. I know that I did. I left my
It's in Mexico. It's like like a festivity.
Yeah.
It's like the day of the king, the magician king, the mage kings.
Mhm.
I don't know.
The
The
Day of the Magi.
yeah,
The three kings, the wise men.
exactly, bro. I was like, my mind. I was like, struggling. But yeah, exactly. It's just the day of the wise men, and you can eat cake.
Yep. And for me, it's my anniversary, so I'm not even thinking about anything else.
Well, I had a great
Cool.
January 6th. You know, I left out a bucket of coins for Ray Epps. So I don't want him coming by, you know, starting an insurrection at my house. So it's pretty great.
Mark Clark IT Crowd is pretty good.
Oh yeah,
That's
it's kind of
an underrated show.
I just saw that that's on
an
Netflix, so I'm going to watch it.
Odd segue, but fantastic show. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was Chrissy Mayer's joke, right? Did you leave your January 6th podium out after? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. So movies are bad right now.
Yeah. I mean, Megan was fun, so I mean it was bad, but it was not that bad. But
I think the last thing we promised to talk about, we promised to actually like get into the criticisms of Avatar 2.
Oh, yeah, we could talk about that. I mean, I have that movie like tattooed on my mind after just
Because even though I enjoyed it, there's a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Oh, Dune 2. Yeah. Do we know the release date of Dune Part 2?
Yeah. It's November.
November? It's like that's literally been keeping me alive.
Yeah.
Yes. And Oppenheimer on summer.
I'm thinking that
Oppenheimer looks like it should be
original
interesting.
Dune. I'm going to watch it in the lead up so we can get a good like fresh take on Dune 1.
Exactly.
You gotta watch the 80s version too. It's so good.
No.
I want to watch it,
Dude,
bro. I love that guy.
Unironically, I love the old Dune movie. Like it's horribly acted, it's cheesy as heck, but it's so entertaining to watch.
Well, and honestly,
like,
I love watching.
There's just like you can just feel the love.
Yeah.
Right? Like they really wanted to make this a good thing, and it just horribly executed, but it's so much fun to watch.
I actually do enjoy watching like the old versions of things and the new versions and see how they've improved, and especially because then sometimes you'll have things like from the new one where it's like they did that because of this thing that happened in the original take on it, but not from the books or not anything else. They did that as a nod to this. Or
so the biggest problem with the old Dune movie is, you know how like in adaptation you have to like, you know, like make changes and like sacrifice to serve the medium, right? Because in books you can do this crazy thing called internal dialogue. You can say what the characters are thinking, right? And it doesn't translate well into movies, and you often have to change internal dialogue to happen inside of a conversation so that you understand characters' motivations. You have to like you have to create a new character for this person to talk to, right? There's lots of different ways of solving this problem of the transition from one media to a different medium. The way that the Dune movie solves this problem is by not addressing it at all. They just have narration for the entire movie to represent every single character's internal dialogue. I swear 90% of the dialogue is internal dialogue narration. It's so funny
because like
it does not work at all, and I love it.
Like Twilight.
That's the easy solution, and it kind of like it's the way that you literally translate it from one to the other, but it can be done okay and it can be done terribly.
I'm gonna watch that movie, bro. I'm curious about the movie because the effects look like cheesy as hell and funny.
There are some shots that are like crazy impressive though. Like they had to do practically
for the 80s,
really
probably.
Good, yeah.
Buenas noches.
There's one shot in particular that's insane. They had a bunch of spaceships landing, and then people. They used real people to like walking out of these spaceships, and what they did is they built like a 60-foot high tower, put all of the miniature spaceships on top of that, and had a cutout where they just had armies of real live people moving around in marching formations, like looking like they were walking out of these ships. It's incredible what they did.
Forced perspective, like dialed up to 100.
So
Yeah.
nuts. It's
That's
nuts.
awesome.
I'm gonna have to watch like the making of or something like that
There
because
were Corridor Crew did an episode on it. It was pretty good.
gonna watch that. I love Corp. Well,
They're
their
okay.
job is
When they're not
their job is
stealing,
good.
it's good. Yeah.
They are good at their job. They are bad at politics, but they are good at their job.
Yeah. Buenos,
Avatar.
Buenos noches, Jacob. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Avatar. I
Yeah.
think we already mentioned that just the messaging, the total anti-capitalism. Every single human is just a piece of garbage who just destroys everything around them. It bugs me a little bit,
Most
and
of
the
them,
whole
there's the scientists. Scientists.
No, but
the fact that they just the opening shot where they land their ships and just destroy half the planet in the process is so ridiculous. This is a planet that they're coming to farm for its resources.
yeah.
But okay, we get it. Humans bad. I didn't like that part. But
No, but they
actual,
are like
plot points that were stupid. There's a
yeah.
lot.
But they say in the bad cameo that where the guy from the first movie where they recorded which my
Yeah,
god, why did they
true.
bring the colonel from the first? Why did you get another
I
villain? You
know.
could get another
I know,
villain.
I know the fact that they thought that they needed to bring him back as a recurring
It's
villain
like,
is just so pathetic. You didn't need it. And then the explanation is just dumb. So they like transported his consciousness back to Earth. But the time
Uploaded his memories to
the timeline in which they would have had to do it had to have taken place during the first Avatar movie because he still has all of his memories about how he hates Jake Sully and how Jake Sully betrayed him.
don't you remember they had
it
the
literally
scene?
happens right before the finale of Avatar 1.
Exactly.
So at the 2 seconds before he gets killed off, he transfers a copy of his consciousness back to Earth.
No, they
so that
had
they
a
can clone
scene.
him.
They had a scene where they are like he's saying like, "Oh, I'm going to go to the final showdown with this guy. I'm probably going to die, but I'm going to download my memory because
he does the recording.
yeah,
If you're watching this, it's because Jake Sully killed me. He's like,
There's no way.
what? And this is the type of this stupid plan. That's the type of person that you would want to clone. This complete failure, who clearly operated outside of his orders and threw caution to the wind in a personal vendetta in the first movie, who endangered tons of people, and this is we're cloning him. Really, he deserved
And then
cloning.
they let him do the same thing here, where he
exactly.
just completely goes off on his own vendetta and agenda, even more than he did in the first one. Yeah.
And the other thing that you said, that why were they going and just when they arrived they destroy like the whole forest basically, and it's like they even say in the movie, okay, we are done, we are not going to go for the resources anymore, now we're going to make this a home for humans, which is ridiculous. You cannot even breathe in this freaking planet, for Christ's sake.
They have the kind of technology to clone an alien species and transport consciousness into an alien body, but yet somehow they're still looking for the whale juice that provides immortality. They can't clone humans too and transport consciousness that way into another human body. You're telling me you don't have that technology? You need to hunt down whales, and it's because capitalism's bad. That's why.
Yeah.
Right.
Because humans are bad, but every human here is like not only bad but psychotic. Like they are psychotic. Like the only way to explain that, they will literally go all over their way, to basically torture a living creature that is supposed to be as smart as them and even more smarter than they know that they are smarter than they have math and music and philosophy, which philosophy is a thing that we invented as humans. How in the hell that they're going to have philosophy? The whales, the freaking whales, but whatever.
Yeah.
But
the fact that the whales could speak was retarded.
The way that they kill them and they grab the juice Imagine
Okay.
if you did that to a human.
Here's the biggest problem with the movie is my favorite by a long shot. The best part of the movie and what I enjoyed the most was that scene where they were hunting down the whale. That was so entertaining to watch. The science involved behind it and the way they chased it down and then separated it from the whales. I was having so much fun in the theater, and that's the exact scene that the director does not want you to enjoy.
Mhm.
That's the problem with the movie. It was that was my favorite part. It was so cool to watch this hunt. I could have watched 5 hours of them just hunting down, of just showing ways to hunt down exotic creatures on Pandora. It was
Yeah,
so
I agree
entertaining.
with that. I agree with that. But it was like over the top as well.
And
It,
then
it was
and then they
like,
find they get at when once it's over, they're like, yeah, we farm these whales, and and by the way, they're definitely more intelligent than humans, as he's like stabbing him in the brain, right? Oh yeah, these guys, he's like choking out a little baby. Oh yeah, yeah, they have like their own culture. They write the music. They write their own music. They have like philosophy.
and and just like, how is this liquid from the brain of a whale on another planet is going to elong the life of a human?
It's explained in the movie in one line. They say it essentially stops human aging.
And how did
But
they
the-
find that?
I don't know, why are you
How
complaining? It's
did
explained. They
out?
explained it in the movie. Okay.
Exactly. How did they find that out? Did they just try it? Did they just say, "Oh, let's have it"? Like, well, prolong. Thank you so much
They
for that.
have all
Prolong.
these resources. They have all these resources and all this technology, and to just do this crazy stuff. To start a war on a different planet, and yet the narrative is supposedly that Earth is dying because they have no resources.
Mhm.
But how do they have the resources to do this?
They also like don't bring up that unobtainium from the first movie.
It doesn't exist because the new thing is whale juice. They don't care about unobtainium, even though the one person who was protecting the tree where the unobtainium was pieces out to go to the water tribe. Isn't that exactly what they wanted? To have the person who was waging the war against them leave so they could farm the unobtainium?
Yeah, they just go to where he is now.
Yeah. Now they have to hunt him down because that's what it is. It's a revenge plot. That being said, I do think the plot of Avatar 2 was better than Avatar 1. It was more interesting.
Is
Of, like,
it
personal vendetta? It's
okay?
stupid.
Yeah.
It's still
Yeah.
better than 1.
There was more story
True,
there. It was
true.
more interesting with the family
True.
dynamics and everything like that going on. Yeah,
The
absolutely.
family stuff was great. I loved Jake's story. Yeah.
I disagree. I really didn't like the dynamic between Jake and his son. The old. He's great with the younger one, the little kid, the little girl that for some reason her, the way that they dress them is really problematic, but is they're supposed to be from another planet.
Right.
It was really weird for
Right,
me.
whatever.
Yeah,
Well, and
the
I
whole
don't
thing-
pretend like
the
it's
whole-
really
yeah.
special and unique, but
So you didn't like his relationship with his sons, though.
yeah, the way he treats the guy that's a rebel, the guy is a dumbass, the
younger son.
guy that basically is
Gets them into
almost
trouble.
almost killing everyone on everything he tries to do for some reason. Like, that was so absurd in that way, because everything he does is putting all the people around him in trouble. The only thing that he does that is not that is putting himself in danger with the whale, with the giant whale that is supposed to be.
That's why I liked that he was constantly reprimanding him, saying, "Hey, no, you're better than this. You got to stop.
No, but
putting
even
your family in danger."
even when he did good, he was like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, and I'm going to bend the knee to this guy that I barely know, instead of protecting my own son and defending him." And even the son is like more mature than the guy, than Jake in some points. And for me, Jake was just a little B, like a little biatch in this movie. He's like always always apologizing. His woman, the Zoe Saldana girl, is like a complete beast, literally acting like a beast.
She was
Like
she was savage.
yeah, she was savage. I was
Her
expecting
personality was I'm angry.
Yeah.
exactly whole movies. She's just angry, and the whole movie Jake is just apologizing, apology. Oh, my apologies, and you bending the knee, and it's like he's nothing like in the first movie where he's a rebel. Well, it was something like that, in the last 15 minutes of the movie, he's a rebel,
Mhm.
and the whole thing of the humans. The thing I liked really very much from the first movie is that the humans are there's a lot of nuance into the characters. Not every human is like a complete psychopath. We have the Michelle Rodriguez character that most
It
people
was like half and
forget.
half. Half
Yeah,
of them
exactly.
were motivated by money, and the other half was like, hey,
And
maybe we shouldn't be doing this. And a
yeah,
lot of
and
people
Sigourney
defended it.
Weaver
It was good.
character. Yeah,
And to be
Sigourney
fair, we
Weaver
also
character.
don't come across a lot of humans in this one. We only see this small group of humans that are the psychotic humans.
Yeah, and the only human, Spider. I don't remember. Spider. Um, I want to say this. Like, I think the relationship with Spider and his dad, although he's not his dad, is way better than the relationship that
It
Jay
is.
has with
It is.
his
It's good.
his younger son. And I was like, are they trying to justify this guy? Are they trying to make the colonel a good guy? And then all of a sudden, like after the whale thing, he starts torturing basically natives. And Spider is like, I hate you. You're so mean. You're so bad. And then he saves it at the end. And then he saves it for some reason after he was torturing.
Because he's going to have a redemption arc.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
course
know. But
And that's
why
part of-
would you
that's
say
probably why they brought him
he's
back and
not
Navi
your
bodies?
dad? Literally, he's not. He told you in the first 50 minutes of the movie, he's like, I'm
Your
not your
dad's
dad.
dad.
I'm just a clone, or I'm just memories
I'm
from
a
the
clone
guy.
of his consciousness put into an alien body. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, but why are you acting so kind to this
Well, because he really does view
Monkey
him as
guy?
a son anyway. Because even though
And I told you that they were going to call him Monkey the whole movie for some reason.
I don't know his name. I legitimately here's
Spider.
No,
Is
that's
he
not
does
his
have
name
a
either.
real
That's a
name.
nickname.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he
So
does
they
have a
call
real
him
name.
Monkey.
just
They
call
call
him
him
Spider.
Spider.
Elliot, something like that. Something dumb like that.
The biggest problem with the entire because it wants to be a franchise. He wants it to be as big as Star Wars and Marvel.
Mhm.
I couldn't tell you a single character's name other than Jake Sully.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Because
the only other character that I remembered was Monkey, and I know that's not his name.
or Spider, which isn't even not his name either.
They also, it's not racist to say they all look the same. Okay.
Mhm.
And their personalities are all very similar. Like
I did struggle with that between his two sons, and I don't have the kids' names.
the only characters that were all unique were the Marines, who they all die.
Mhm.
Like they all kind of had different personalities. I was like, okay, these are cool, and they're all just killed off on ceremony.
Yeah,
I will also say I disagree about I actually really liked the dynamic with because like for me, Zoe Saldana's character, it makes sense. She's been angry since the first film because this dude comes in and pretends to be something and undercuts it and gets her father killed. She has to leave her family. She has to leave everything that she's. So I get that, and I think Jake. I didn't think Jake was just bending the knee all the time. I think he was authoritative with his sons, and I think he did a good job there. And I think it was dumb of him to think that he could he could leave the people that he was with and not put them in danger, but then go over to these water people. And he just didn't care.
Yeah.
Maybe
The whole plot was an excuse to show off the water. Like it's the fact that they leave at all is stupid. The fact that he's leading the rebellion and then just decides, oh no, I have kids now, so I don't want to do it.
Because he does. Well,
you have to take that. You have to suspend your disbelief to like, okay, now that we're here, let's see what it is. But yeah,
he even continues to lead the rebellion once the humans first show up. It's not until the colonel shows up that he's like, oh, this colonel's gunning for me and my kids directly, that he decides to peace out. So like he's doing some good things. He's teaching them tactics and having them attack this maglev train. I will say the one time that the CGI did not work for me was the attack on the mag train on the train or whatever,
Mhm.
that looked like a video game to me. The rest of it looked beautiful. The
Yeah.
rest of it looked amazing. But
When
that
they are
blowing
mhm.
up looked like a video game cutscene to me.
Yeah, but everyone has said that that it looks good. It
Yeah.
that is
Oh,
that even like
the underwater stuff was just breathtaking.
Well,
It was
and
stunning.
to me, I did like a lot of those things that you didn't like. So that, I mean, and that's fair. There's everybody sees it differently, but yes, like everybody said, it's beautiful, and I didn't mind most of the other stuff. But
Yeah, this is a really good point, though. All of the humans on Pandora are evil because they're mining it.
Mhm.
That makes it's from Willow.
Well, and
They have to mine evil now, right?
Okay. I
Okay.
see.
and
Yeah,
do
no.
you enjoy everyone saying bro for like
Yeah,
saying
no, I
bro, bro? Holy
Yeah.
It
moly!
was silly.
I
It was
did
silly.
appreciate that they addressed the idea of we're speaking in this other language, but just we're gonna put it in English because that's the way that
Lazy.
it was like isn't it one of the submarine movies or whatever where they do the same thing. They're supposed to be speaking in Russian and they do a little push in and like
Yeah, the best.
we're not gonna make this in Russian, but
I get why they did it. They want to make it more approachable, but they should have come up with more ways to work in the Navi language because it's really well done. The
I
Navi
agree.
language is incredible.
Yeah,
I completely agree.
So
Bro,
they should-
was not necessary. They should have put in some like
What they should have done is all of the new things they're introducing them to on the water. They have different words for them. It's a different culture. If you go to
Mhm.
Britain, they'll call pants knickers. And you oh, what's a knicker? And careful how you pronounce it, right? So they should have done that. They should have added more words. They're like, wait, what's that? I don't have a word for this. Like, they should have. They could have
yeah.
kept
Yeah.
the language.
And the designs for the animals that they use are not that much creative. They're like, okay, water dragons, or the
fun.
water tiger, or instead of the rhinos we have whales. So it's like
Yeah.
three creatures in the whole thing, just like the three creatures that they show. Well,
Was expecting a bit more variety.
a lot
They
more,
all
right?
have the same little like water dragon things. I really liked the design of the water dragon thing. How it
Yeah,
like,
they look
use
cool.
the tail as a skimmer. There's a word for it. I can't remember what it is, but it actually kind of would have worked the way that they
Mhm.
showed that like it was a cool creature. But I was expecting a
Yeah.
little bit more variety. I think
But
the Jake
why the
Sully's-
wife? Yeah.
I think the family dynamic that didn't really work for you worked for me better. I'm coming from the perspective of a father, right?
Mhm.
I think it just connected with me on a whole different level. But it was fun despite all
Yeah,
that.
but for me, coming from the perspective of a son,
Yeah.
it's like annoying, that the father is like never on the side of the son, and for me, it's like that doesn't really happen. You at least going to be on the side of your son when he's right.
The really stupid part was he's not friends with them. He's trying to make amends with the kids who they've been fighting, and they try and make amends, and they say, okay, hey, let's take you to the forbidden, what is it in Lion King?
Beyond the Break or something like that. I don't remember.
What's the forbidden lands?
Elephant graveyard.
The elephant. Let's go to the elephant graveyard, right? So they take him to the outside the barrier where he gets in trouble and almost dies, and they leave him there. And he comes back, and then they have this huge stink. I can't believe you went outside the barrier, and they argue about it like that was super dangerous and super and whatever. And then he does the thing where he doesn't rat them out to gain confidence with them. Yeah, I get it. And then literally the next scene is him going back. Like, he doesn't even say like, okay, is it okay for me to go now? Like, he literally the next scene he goes straight back.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's like,
It was
I
whale
don't give a fudge. Yeah. And another thing, why isn't the mother, the Soy Saldana? I don't remember her name.
I don't
Soy
know.
Saldana. Why isn't she riding like a fish? Why is she riding a dragon?
She kept her air dragon.
Well, and
Yeah.
I think that the rest of them did too because they like came back at one point, but
So
I
she
do
needed like
think-
vantage points and stuff. So she
she definitely like goes away during that whole integrating into the new water world.
Yeah.
The worst part though is like they gear up for the fight scene, and they bring the whole army, and then the whale attacks, and everyone just leaves.
Mhm.
Like the entire village who was there to fight disappears, and it's just Jake and his wife fighting.
No, it's just like Jake, the pregnant lady, the king, and because they
No,
have
Jake
like
is
kill
shot too.
scenes. No, he killed a guy. He only had one scene, like one
Yeah.
scene when he goes and throws his spear and he like
But
kills
after
a guy.
after the
And
whale attack, after the ship crashes,
oh
and the
yeah,
fight still goes
just
on,
leave.
everyone is just gone for
Yeah,
no
bailing.
reason.
Yeah, right before the boat starts, exploding, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
everyone is like, okay, let them die. They're like, okay, they're fine. They'll be fine.
But the fight scenes was the fight scene was fun. I liked.
Yeah, the fight scene was really good.
I
It
liked
was a fun movie. It was a
Titanic
fun movie.
2 with inside the ship. It was there was a lot to like from the movie. I just wish it was smarter.
It was going to be like it could have been one of the best movies
Really.
of the year if it wasn't for just so nominally the things that they did. Like so, oof. Another thing that I didn't like. The thing that I did really enjoy the most was every scene with the colonel and Spider and his lackeys. It's like, why didn't they make more of this? But they were maybe making them too sympathetic. Maybe they were
Yeah, no,
making
they
the
were
guy.
cool.
Yeah, they were cool when
They were
they
really
teach.
cool, and they were
Yeah,
interesting villains, and
and they
didn't
made
even
sense.
his goal is to hunt him down, and then they go and they find their dragons because they're avatars now. So they go find their dragons, and then like an hour later, they come back into the story once the medevac thing goes to the water world, and they track the trajectory. Wouldn't it have been great if the entire movie you see him hunting them down, like finding new footprints? Like, okay, they went this way, they went this way. It doesn't even show him checking the forest village. They didn't even go there. They just assume that he's like, none of it's. It would have been so much more interesting if he was hunting them down the whole time.
Yeah, but they for some reason they are like, no, obviously he went hiding to the water, but they are like, oh, they are like 9 kingdoms of water, so we don't know where they are, and then like they track them because of that whole thing with the whole thing with Sigourney Weaver and daughter, which they never say how she was conceived, which is really dumb.
That's intended mystery from the.
I know the fact that it's the scientists are saying no, she was definitely an immaculate conception. None of us banged the corpse. Don't even question it.
Because there was no way around it. That's like, if she was conceived, there had to be like necrophilia involved on that or something like that.
I don't think it'd be technically qualified as necrophilia. It would just be having sex with
an alien course,
with like with someone in a coma.
Yeah.
Right?
No, but
just like
yes,
because the human body died, but then this is supposed to be the other.
So
body.
it's everything functions. There's just no brain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's just banging someone who's in a coma. That's it.
But that's like graping, right?
It's a little bit worse. Yeah.
Yes,
worse than necrophilia, because I really don't want to figure out.
I would rather. Okay, if I had to choose which one was worse, I would rather be dead. Okay, I would rather have someone bang me while I was dead than if I was in a coma.
Yeah, because you are going to wake up and then you're pregnant. So,
yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, this movie goes places. Let me tell you. I mean, I hope the third one is better, but yeah, after
the third
this,
one's gonna have volcano Navi. They're gonna be
they're going
lava,
to be evil
lava Navi. Yeah, they're probably gonna be Native American, like Native Indians, and they're gonna be bad guys.
And then they're gonna go to the desert section of the planet. There'll be desert Navi, and then they're gonna be I don't know.
So
whatever
each
else.
movie, it's Jake Sully moving to a different group of
Different
Navi,
biome,
running from another
the human.
clone of the general. They keep cloning him, and he keeps moving to different regions so he can learn all of the different cultures. Because only the Avatar can master all
Yes.
all
That's how you get
7
from
of
there.
Pandora's cultures. We don't know how many there are, but
I've heard up
That's
to
it.
at least 5, but I thought I'd heard at one point in time up to 7.
it's however many movies he's going to make. It's only the Avatar can master all of the cultures.
Yep.
Okay, that's what it's about.
Yep.
Called it.
Oh, that's
We
They are
got
not smart
sky and we
enough.
got water, fire coming next. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
they
the
are
other
not
thing.
smart
The
enough
live,
to.
the
Okay, go
live
ahead.
action Last Airbender remake is supposed to drop in Q2 of this year, and I
Oh.
cannot wait to destroy this show. It's going to be so bad. I'm so excited.
It's
Content, baby.
That's a low bar too. With
Yeah.
the previous live adaptation.
Oh, I
Which
cannot
was-
wait.
It's gonna be really hard to be worse than that.
I hope it
man.
is. I hope it is. Yep. I am eager to watch all the trash that is going to come out this year. If people think that 2022 was bad, although there were really like 5 or 6 shows that were unwatchable and completely
the
trash.
Marvel slate. Have you seen the
Oh
current
my
Marvel slate,
God.
man? It's so embarrassing.
It's going to be awful. And it was written by the same guy that wrote the episode on She-Hulk that was on the retirement retrieve,
I actually liked that one episode.
but it was on
But
funny
that's
as hell. That was on fun. That
It was
was
funnier than the rest of the show.
Yeah, I agree.
Anything, but it-
That was the best episode of the series. It was still not good, but
because
compared
it
to
was written
everything
by a
else, it was the
man.
better one. Yeah.
I just can't. I'm super excited. The only thing is, your argument is that 2023 is going to be worse, but we don't get a Rings of Power in 2023. That was 2022. Can it get worse than that?
Hmm.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I
that's
think that this year will be slightly less worse,
but
but not by
Time
much.
shall
Yeah.
tell.
Yep.
imagine there's actually a show that's worse than the Rings of Power. Could that
Okay.
happen?
Well, you told me that I need to watch Blood Origin, and I really, really don't want to.
But it's still 2023, so yeah, that show is actually worse than the Rings of Power. Way worse than the Rings of Power.
Well,
the Rings of Power.
I think
looks
Willow
so
was worse than
original.
it too. I
Yeah,
I'm
true,
shocked.
true.
Yeah.
Rings of Power is way worse than Willow. Willow
Well-
is no, it's a CW fluffy.
Well, yeah,
cover, but
yeah.
it's-
I mean,
Rings of Power is so much worse, so much more poorly put
If-
together.
the problem with the Rings of Power is because it's going to be, if you put it in perspective, it's obviously going to be worse than everything else because it's a 1 billion show.
There's that
Yeah.
too. But I
That's
The Lord
true.
of- it's the Lord of the Rings. So,
I know,
well,
I know I'm in the minority on that one. Willow is meh to like. There's a couple bad things. but
yeah. If you think that, well, National Treasure is probably going to take the.
I can't do it, man. I
Yeah.
can't do that.
But Blood Origins is
I'll make
yeah,
an
it's
episode.
worse.
I'll make a thing making fun of episode 1, but I can't bring myself to watch more of that show, man.
Nah, you don't have to, bro. Don't worry. I will wait for it to finish and then I will make a
Taco.
season 1 review and you can
Taco.
see
Reviews of it.
taco
Taco
seasoning.
Taco seasoning. It's the perfect metaphor for how these it's they don't give a crap about representation. They just want to milk. They want to
All
take
surface level.
take all those minorities. They want to milk them. They want to milk you. They want to take your money away from you.
Milk
and
those
because they
minorities like
pretend to like
almonds?
you. I don't know.
Like
Just-
cows.
Okay.
But
they
that's why
don't
we
give a
know.
crap. They don't give a crap about any of these things that they're feigning their virtue signaling about, and it's
Yeah.
gross.
I don't know if it's worse than taco seasoning, but yeah, Blood Oranges is worse than the Rings of Power. And that's saying, a lot. Yeah. The dialogue alone, bro.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah, you shouldn't probably do it because they say a lot of curse words, and you probably don't want to do it. You know,
Yeah,
in a house full of kids. Yeah.
I've never heard curse words before. I've originated.
And they had
Yeah.
three sip scenes.
As long as there's no
Did we-
nudity, that's fine.
Did we talk about the
Uh,
19
talk about-
Yeah, there's no-
1899 news before I got here?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
that it
canceled.
got canceled. Sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Watch
wonder
Dark
why.
is better anyway.
Was it like based on ratings or
They didn't.
based on...
Netflix has never said anything about why they
Mhm.
cancel any of their shows.
Mhm.
They never released details. The only time we knew why it happened was when they canceled the Marvel shows because Disney Plus. They straight up said we're not going to keep making money for Marvel if they're going to launch.
Mhm.
They're going to compete against us.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Martina.
1899 was canceled.
Mhm.
There is some hope that it might get picked up by a different place.
Company.
Network.
They're probably going to be like a European one, so it's
It was pretty popular though, despite the complete lack of advertising. I didn't even know it was out.
Mhm.
I think internationally it was not that popular on, well, on Latino world. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
barely on. I
The only
wasn't in
Latin
the top
character
10.
was just a complete scumbag. So
Yeah.
representation, but okay. Well, I don't have anything else to talk about.
Yeah, me neither.
But I'm super excited for next week.
I did want to end on the positive, the semi-positive note of, you think the year 2023 is going to be terrible, even if it's maybe slightly less bad than 2022, but it's the year of Sanderson, in spite of.
It is. Yeah, it is.
But it's the
I'm
year of
looking forward to
Sanderson.
Year,
It can't
year
be
of
terrible.
Sanderson, the year of Dune Part
I don't
2.
know how to read, bro.
the what?
I don't know how to read.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
You can read it in Spanish. It's fine.
No.
You get an audiobook.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, get an audiobook.
Alright.
True.
Yeah.
I know
I'm-
he's got a
I'm
lot of this
listening.
stuff translated, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm listening to Tress
you-
of the Emerald Sea, his first secret novel on audiobook. I'm on chapter 10 or 11 or something like that.
So you learned all of your English from just watching TV, right?
Exactly.
You legitimately do not know how to read English.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah, I
crazy.
tried to read.
Oh,
I tried to
wow.
read Oscar Wilde, and it was a wild.
Oh, why would you? Well, don't start with Oscar Wilde. Start with Harry Potter, dude.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, I tried.
Oscar Wilde.
And they were talking a lot about classics, and I was like, oh, I'm going to read the Dorian Gray.
Oh, Dorian
Yeah,
Gray.
no. You
Okay,
gotta
Well,
start
that's a
reading-
short one. That's
You
fine.
got to start reading kids' books, okay, or YA stuff, like because
Yeah.
it's dumbed down.
Stephen
language.
King. I actually read Carrie, and it's pretty,
Mm.
Like,
pretty
I
neat.
technically read the Don Quixote in Spanish, okay, but I took a class, a college level class called Reading Don Quixote, so I had a professor explaining all of the words I didn't know, and I read it in English alongside the Spanish. Okay, there's no way I would
Don
have
Quixote
enjoyed
is
it or
hard.
even understood it
Yeah,
if I
Don Quixote is hard,
picked up
even for
Don Quixote
Mexicans.
and read it.
Yeah.
It's a great book, okay, but that's crazy, okay, crazy talk.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, yeah, what do I start with Sanderson? So I'm probably going to start with the one that was when
Yeah,
he
start
was
with one of
not
his
good
YA
as good as a writer when he started the
I
first
missed
book.
a ton of comments though. I would take Raised by Wolves season 3 over 1899 getting renewed for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it started Dostoevsky. Well, I actually like Crime and Prejudice.
Pride and Prejudice.
What's
It's-
the name?
Crime and Punishment.
Crime and
Okay,
Prejudice.
I don't. How is he called in Spanish? I don't know. F me. I read it in Spanish, but I don't even remember the name.
One
in
about the
Spanish.
Russian dude, or is it one about the people in like 18th century, like Victorian?
Yeah, the one from the Russian guy.
Definitely looking
That was
forward to
Crime and
40K.
Punishment.
Definitely
yeah.
not going to come this year, but it's going to be cool.
I tried to read the Karamazov brothers, but it was
The Kama Sutra?
Kamarasov
okay.
brothers, or
Yeah.
Anyway.
But seriously, props to you for learning English.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm joking. I'm not trying to diminish the accomplishment of learning English.
Because it's such a bizarre
it's
language.
a lot harder to learn English as a Spanish speaker than it is to learn Spanish as an English speaker.
100%.
for learning it, but speaking is, I think it's harder for an English speaker to speak Spanish than
At
it's
least
harder
to
for a
not
Spanish
sound like an
speaker.
idiot. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love English. It's my favorite language. It's the only language where I don't feel anxious, speaking with people. I don't know. It's really weird. When I started, the only reason why I started speaking in English because I have so high social anxiety, and it's really hard for me to communicate in Spanish because Spanish is like hard.
It is.
Even for Mexicans, it's hard. But English is, so lighthearted, and you can express your feelings, and there are so many words, and you can even make up words, and people in America, at least in America, they will understand you. So
Yeah. Plus, it's not gendered, so you're not.
Yeah,
sexist
exactly.
anymore.
We're not picking here in America.
No, I personally, I love Spanish because I look at English, and especially looking at the difference between like reading and writing it, or sorry, like English is so just all over the place, and so like in Spanish, I think sounds beautiful. So, but
I mean, you have to listen to people in my part of the country where they talk, and that's something that I put on my videos. When they hey la verga, which is you don't even understand what they are saying, but
that's true.
it's hilarious. It's funny as hell, but yeah, they don't speak.
I tried to talk to
best
some people
Spanish.
from DF, and like I would talk with them, and boy, they were talking fast, and it was hard to catch up. And then I heard two people from DFA speaking to each other, and I'm like, oh, yep, not catching any of that.
No, they are aliens. They speak even for other parts of Mexico where they're called provincia, where if you're not from the DF, you are from provincia, you are foreigner.
Native.
Yeah.
I was trying to learn German as well, but when you get to grammar and when you try to join words together,
that's one that you literally can't. Like you literally can make up words because it's designed that way.
Yeah, but it's.
Do you know? My favorite thing, absolute favorite thing about being in Mexico was hearing people who learned British English.
Oh,
because it is horrible. The mixture of a Spanish accent. See, when you do American English with a Spanish accent, it sounds kind of sexy, right? It's like, Francisco's going to take me off on a romantic adventure. But when you get the Spanish accent bleeding into British English, it sounds so awful. I love hearing it. It's just the worst thing imaginable.
Yeah, I used to date a girl that and she is actually the reason why I got into English, because the only reason she dated me because I was actually capable of ligar, it's called in Spanish, flirting, I think is the translation. In English, I couldn't flirt in Spanish. I was just a mess, but I could flirt in English because I knew the language and I liked it. But she did a great British accent, and she could do great British accent and great LA, like, oh my god, girl, I was like, and she was hilarious. She is hilarious. I miss her. Yeah, she was fun as hell.
I don't know if I could flirt in Spanish. I don't know. I know a lot of things that would get me in trouble, right?
But actually, the things that will get you in trouble in Mexico, probably they will ask.
Like...
They will ask about that in Mexico if you did it with with the
I
right
would, I would
intonation.
have the benefit of being the gringo, right?
Exactly,
So
exactly. Just funny.
I could flirt ironically, right? I could say all these like really horrible things, and they'd be like, "Oh, you just learned." No, I'm not.
No, I know what I'm doing. I know. No, actually, yes, you can get away with a lot of things in Mexico if you're a gringo. I don't like to use that word, but if you're American.
I did get I received a lot of offers when I was down there. So, yep.
But hey,
I also looked a little bit more handsome than I do now. So I've gotten fat.
mm, yeah, American food is a little bit greasy,
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
but delicious.
Well, it's been a blast.
Just a,
Really looking forward to next week.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna be so awesome. We're gonna have Gothic Therapy on. Just for the first hour, I think is all they can commit to because their Sundays are super busy. That's what
I mean, that's what it takes to review Wednesday, so it's going to be perfect.
yeah. So so their Sundays are busy because they're coming off of they're Jewish, so they're coming off of the Sabbath.
Mm.
So their Sunday, that's when they record, edit, and post their like weekly video too.
Holy
So,
moly.
they'll be coming in right after that.
Nice.
Super excited. Okay. Next week we'll talk about Wednesday. We'll talk about the finale of Willow, probably after they leave, because I don't think they're watching it. And then the week after that, we'll have Vox Machina and
Yeah.
The Last of Us talked about. So Martina,
Yeah.
I was telling David, can we watch TV that is good, or do we have to do homework for the show still?
Yeah,
Vox
that's-
Machina is coming up. Vox Machina is going to be good, and
That's literally the conversation. Is like, hey, do we have anything we have to watch, or can we look for something that's good?
Oh, the 90s show is coming out on the 19th too.
What? Oh,
The
that 90s show.
90s show. My
I-
God, that
reboot?
looks awful.
it's a continuation. It's a sequel series. It's got Red and Kitty and
Soft reboot.
Yeah,
It's got the
soft reboot, yeah.
parents, who,
But it has
who
diversity
have opened their
all over it,
basement to the grandkids.
yeah.
which
And
are
like Eric
Chinese
is
guy,
something to
Mexican
show up,
guy, black guy, black girl, something like that.
How did
Lesbian
they all
couple.
change color? That's
Yeah,
I don't get it.
there's only like a white person, but he's probably like half Mexican or something like
These
that.
are the children of the 80s show kids.
Mhm.
They're all different colors. So
They're all intermarried, I guess.
Wait, there was an 80s show?
They actually did try to do an 80s show, but it was really short lived. He meant.
sorry, I meant the 70s. Yeah, that's
Okay. I
Is
was
it-
like,
is it
I
called
need
that-
to watch that
Sure.
80s show.
called that 80s.
It's called That
Isn't it
70s
80s?
show, and there was that 80s show that they tried to do too.
But
It
the
didn't
pilot, they
It
just
didn't
did the
even get a
pilot,
full
but
season. Yeah.
yeah, they just did the
Sorry, I
pilot.
misspoke. The 90s show. That 90s.
The 70s show was good. I liked it, but
I
it's
never
fun,
watched it
It's
religiously,
good
but
fun.
I caught episodes here and there. It was fun.
I watched
good
a bunch
fun.
of it.
I watched it all, and I watched it like a bunch of times because they always are smoking weed. So when you're a weed head, you have to find someone you can relate to. Yeah. Although I stopped smoking, so perhaps for
I
me,
do need. I
New
am in
Year's
the market.
resolution.
I am in the
Nice.
market for a new like sitcom to watch. Sometimes I'll like put it on in the background while I'm like editing on other things. Like
Yeah,
I don't
that's
have to pay attention to. And I just finished. What did I just finish? I can't even remember. But I'm in the market for like a background TV show.
how you watch Arrested Development.
Oh yeah, like
Uh.
4 times. So
Yeah, I don't know anything any other.
yeah, I've seen Arrested Development. I've seen most of them. So
Yeah, I was How I Met Your Mother, but it's not that good.
yeah, it's not worth rewatching. I tried
Yeah.
rewatching it. It's not good.
Mm-mm. The only
It
thing
doesn't-
good
doesn't
is
doesn't hold up nearly as
The one I love is Scrubs.
Scrubs.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
fantastic.
Scrubs is
Scrubs
good.
is good. Parks and Rec is good.
I
Yeah.
can't even count how many times I've rewatched
The
Parks
Office,
and
of
Rec,
course,
so.
is the classic.
Yeah.
Community.
Oh,
Community,
Community.
I love-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Are they leaving the other one?
There's some other good ones that I like. They're not as super popular. Raising Hope is one that I freaking
My Name is
love.
Earl.
My Name is Earl, along the same lines, same creators. If you like musicals, Gallivant, mwah, Chef's
Gallivant
Kiss,
is good.
so freaking good. Every
That
once in a
was
while, when
sad
we're
that
bored,
Gallivant
we'll
got
just
canceled.
hop on bowl. Yeah, but it ended.
It ended well.
decently.
They knew that
So-
they probably weren't going to get a third season, so they ended it well.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to see a third season.
It would have been so nice to see a third season.
I don't know. Have you
Gallivant
watched
is
The
so
Good Place?
Yeah,
The Good Place is fun. I like
Okay.
The Good Place. Yeah.
It's fun. Afterlife. Have you watched Afterlife?
I
haven't.
started that one. It was just too sad.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I really liked it. That's
True,
got
true.
that one, the kids meal scene, right? That it's like
Mhm.
so funny. I'm sorry, you can't order a kid meal, but I don't
maybe
want
the
full
Eat
meal.
crowd is good, and maybe I'm going to
Yeah,
check that
IT
out.
crowd.
This is
The
my
IT
kid,
crowd.
and she'll take the kids meal twice. But you're just gonna eat it. Oh no, I promise I won't.
That was so good.
It's great too. But,
Yeah. Yeah.
Ricky
good.
Gervais, I love Ricky Gervais.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's tough.
Yeah. He's a little bit woke.
Well, it's just depressing.
And he hates God so much. He hates religion so much. It's like he has like this in Netflix there's a trailer for his Special Humanity or something like that. And the trailer starts with he bashing religion. He's like it's not even a good argument. He's
No, I appreciate him. It's just sometimes I can't take it as much.
he's funny. He's funny as hell. And
He's funny when he's bashing other Hollywood types, but
exactly.
For sure. Yeah, there was a series he did that got a lot of heat. It was called Derek, I think. And he played someone with special needs, and
Right.
he got like ripped up because he's, how dare you make fun of those people that have special needs or whatever, autism or whatever. But it was a fun show. The Detectorists, huh?
I've never
I
heard
haven't.
of that one.
I have not
I was
heard of that.
considering getting into. I've never watched. It's not. No, there's a British show. It's Rowan Atkinson and all they like go through history.
Derek sounds good. I'm going to start watching Derek. I
Derek
just
is-
I enjoyed it. It was all right.
Oh, was it Blackadder?
Blackadder, yeah. Is it good?
Yeah, Mark Clark got it in the chat there.
Yeah. Is it worth watching? I've heard it's great.
I think I've heard good things.
I think that might be my next thing, but it kind of sounds like one that you got to pay attention to, and you can't just have it on in the background. Derek.
Yeah.
I do that with most of my shows. I can't just background them.
I think I might have watched
Being
the
is fun.
first episode of Derek.
I mean, you can background, like you said, sitcoms,
Yeah.
which
And ones that I've already watched, I'll do, but I like being able to pay attention. I don't know. I've gotten
Perfect.
lazy about it lately, but
The perfect show for just putting on it, and just listening to is by far Frasier. I love Frasier. So I've watched it all, but the comedy of that show, it's never like physical comedy. It's all intellectual conversations that he's having with his brother Niles. You can literally just listen to it, and it's and get everything.
I remember I watched.
I love Frasier. I'm very worried about its reboot.
Yeah.
So.
Everybody Loves Raymond is another good classic one that's fun.
I never watched it.
That. I might pick.
You never watched it? It's good. It's good.
I've seen episodes.
But it's
on
also
TV.
good for for just listening to.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's good. It's a good wholesome show. I like it.
With Frasier, I watched some of it when I was a kid. It would just whenever it would pop up, and I was gonna start watching it, and I thought about watching Cheers first, and started it, and I just never.
I've never seen Cheers.
Yeah,
Cheers is
I know
decent
you
too.
don't need
Yeah,
to, it just was technically a spinoff, and I was like, yeah, why not? I want to check it out, but
Yeah,
never got on the
I would highly recommend Frasier. I love that show.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
I remember liking those ones. Yeah, I
I'm going to
finally
look for it because I don't know where it streams. So.
Seinfeld's another one that's a kind of a classic comedy. one.
When I watched it,
that's fine.
was on Netflix. It's been a while.
Which one?
Yeah, but Mexican Netflix, is not. They don't have the as good as shows like. We barely have
Sorry.
like Seinfeld.
9 seasons of Everyone Loves Raymond. Wow.
Yeah.
So I'd have to
Yeah,
watch,
I haven't watched
I'd have to
nearly
watch it
all
on
of it.
Peacock though, really.
You've heard good things about the
It's
middle.
free.
Yeah,
It's
there's
free.
no Hulu on Mexico
The-
though.
Yeah.
The middle is fine. It's the acting is not the greatest, but I started watching it because it got the janitor from Scrubs.
That's one of the reasons.
I've never even heard of The Middle, but Malcolm in the Middle, man, I could rewatch.
Woo!
I could
I
rewatch
have
that
watched
show
it for a long
like 3
any
time.
times.
freaking day, dude.
Good. So
Malcolm in the Middle is genuinely hilarious. Like
Mhm.
that show holds up too. Like I watched it as an adult because I'd watched most of it, but I never saw like the whole thing, because TV.
Yeah,
that's how it
this was
works,
one of the shows that my
I watched
mother
it.
never let me watch. Yeah, so
Well,
I loved
A
watching it
couple
for the
years
first
ago, I
time.
went through and I watched the whole thing, and I was like, "This show
Same.
is freaking hilarious."
I did the same thing with Even Stevens a little while back. That was a funny
Oh
show.
yes, I love Even Stevens.
Back when I actually
Back
liked
when back when Disney Channel shows were good.
Yeah. You should try VPN if you want to just watch American stuff. So
Yeah, I had one for like a year, and I paid for the whole year, and then I never used it. So
yeah, they can get expensive.
yeah. If I get a sponsor, maybe someday.
Yeah, where's your sub count?
And Mark,
Almost
that's
700.
not their intended purpose, but yes,
You
you
can.
can use a VPN to do that.
I used to do that, but they stopped. It stopped working with Netflix at least. Yeah,
was
I
gonna say,
remember it was back
I know
in.
that's not their intended purpose, but yet most of the like half of the ads that I hear about them are talking about how you can use them for that.
But it's a lie because
not,
when you
not the
actually try to
official
do-
ads, those are all the YouTube
YouTubers,
sponsors to say,
yeah.
"Hey, you can use this to do this." Yeah,
you know that they get like bullet
Oh,
points
yeah.
to read, and so that would be included in their bullet points to read about it because
Very true,
it was
yeah.
on all of them. So when you see that common thread,
Exactly.
you know that it's in their bullet points.
But
Yes.
it's a lie because I tried that since 2014 when I first tried a VPN. It stopped working. The Netflix changed their algorithm. Like I remember that it used to work for like like a year, and then they were like, okay, people are doing this. We cannot allow people to do this, and it doesn't
The
work
guys that were
anymore.
specifically like talking about that, I think that they must have found another way around it for a while. Although the new Netflix deciding they're going to crack down on this password sharing may cause some trouble for that too.
I mean, probably works in other countries, but in America and Canada, it doesn't work anymore.
Well, Frasier's good. Malcolm in the Middle's good. Has anyone ever tried to go back and watch The Cosby Show?
Ooh, no.
It's really good, and it's so hard to watch. Man,
that has got to be one of the most disappointing things to have found out about because it's like he was such a great
dude. He was my personal hero. I literally have albums of his stand-up memorized from start to finish that I can to this day still quote to you.
Yeah.
And did he ever like gave any clues? Like
No.
He did it on his stand-up.
There was one episode of The Cosby Show where he talks about roofing someone, and you're like, oh, yikes.
Okay. He told us at least, no? He was open about it.
He was making jokes about it on the show.
Oh my god, that makes it worse.
Yeah.
No, but he's innocent now. We can't judge him
because
he's innocent.
A technicality.
Technically innocent, the best kind.
Because they used, because of technicality. I read that. I think Ben Shapiro talked about it, and he explains it better because he's a lawyer. So
it's really dumb. Yeah. Man, that's still hard for my brain to process.
Okay, F it. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it.
No. If you want to watch To Wrestle My Brother Whom I Slept With. That's his greatest album. It's so freaking funny. It's good.
It's all one story.
It's just
a
literally the
whole
entire
hour-long
stand-up act is
commentary,
an
yeah.
hour-long story about him and his brother, and just the
Yeah,
stupid
but
things they would do instead of going to bed at night.
I
They
only
shared
can
a
find
bed,
it,
shared a
by
bedroom.
piracy
That one,
because
or Bill Cosby
he's
himself.
canceled from
Bill Cosby
everything else.
himself is probably his best work of stand-up. And that one is filmed. You can watch.
Actually,
that.
where can I find it? I'm wondering because everything probably he was canceled from every streaming platform. So probably YouTube or
Yeah,
not even YouTube or
I don't
YouTube.
know.
I don't know. I don't know.
You might be able to find it on YouTube or something.
Yeah, but
Um,
not everything. But yeah, I'm going to watch. At least I'm going to try to watch that episode where he talks about roofing people.
Yeah, I don't know which one that is.
But probably it's
I'm
going to
sure
be
if you
in
just
YouTube.
YouTube it, you can find what episode it's on.
Probably. Although
I found the whole Bill Cosby himself on YouTube. I don't know if it's available in Mexico, but
Yeah.
it's there for free. So
Yeah, because he had so his stand-up is good, and the TV show is also good. It's just so.
The Cosby Show.
So unfortunately, he was such a role model, to everybody. Such a wholesome guy on the surface, and then you find out
He did one
Anyways.
thing. He just came out.
It's just the one thing.
He came out against the trans community, and now he's persona non grata. So.
Yeah.
Wow. Just get over it, guys.
Anyway.
Okay?
I mean, if he starts telling that thing, he's red pill now. He's probably going to get endorsed by the conservatives, like they have been endorsing Andrew Tate for some reason.
I don't know who the heck Andrew Tate is. I know I should know who he is. I don't care about knowing who he is. I've seen like 2 clips, and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. I also, for some reason, YouTube recommends him to me, although for some reason,
YouTube
but
keeps recommending a lot of
yeah,
it keeps recommending
all
Andy
he
Tate.
says.
Talking about sitcoms, I keep getting clips for 2.5 Men
Oh, ew.
and 2 Broke Girls. I don't know if
Ew.
there's a reason why I keep getting those clips. It's not funny. I don't like either of those shows, and I'm like,
No,
stop. The problem is I watched the whole thing just because out of like oh, like wait, this is a joke, and like out of the curiosity, so it keeps recommending more.
I mean,
That's the
everyone
problem.
knows that the only reason why we
streaming problem all over
ever
again.
watch 2.5 Men is because when you were like a teenager with hot females. That's all.
They both feel like they're written by the same person. It's written for horny
The same
teenagers or adults who never grew up. Right?
Mhm.
Like,
Same creator, actually.
it is.
I think so. If not, I think
you
it's either the creator of the Big Bang Theory that made two broke girls, or the 2.5 Men, because I knew that was like a big news, regarding the Warner Brothers. Well, when Warner Brothers was a good, well, not a good, but a famous channel.
Yeah. Well, we will see you guys next week. It's going to be a fun show.
Yeah.
Better
I
be.
tried to get. I talked to. Just going back to his Dark Materials. Last show I talked about maybe bringing Mom on because she read the books. So I called her. She literally didn't even know what I was talking about. She doesn't remember a single thing. She's like, "What's his Dark Materials? It's the Golden Compass. What's that? There's a compass and it's golden, and there's a bear too." And she's like, "I read those." It's like, "Yeah, because Julie wanted to read the books, and you and Dad read them first to make sure it was okay because it's about killing God, right?" And she's like, I think you're making things up. And I was like,
Yeah.
so that's not gonna work. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Go check out these guys' channels, the Angry Mexa and Shelf Help Gaming, and we'll tune in next week for Wednesday and Gothic Therapy. It's gonna be fun.
Sweet.
Nice.
Anything else to plug?
Nope. I'm good.
Thanks for tuning in. This is a fun
Toodles.
show. I love doing this. Love you guys.
Hey.
Let's get all sappy. Bye.
Bye.